And we're live here at the station of decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neil.
That would make me terrible, Troy.
And I'm Annabelle Lecter.
And we're joined by the fine fellows of death metal, which we're about to talk about. Mike Kuciak.
Hey, hello, hi.
Hello. And Kyle Severn.
How are you?
Welcome.
Very good. Very good. Yeah.
Excellent.
Glad to be here.
I will have to jump in very quickly, just a sidebar, the roll call of guests that you've had on this before. I feel honored to be included in such an august host.
Well, very good. Well,
Cool cats, yeah.
Yeah, we're happy to have you here.
You're a good fit.
Thanks.
Because I watched that movie. And I liked it very much.
Which one? Ours?
Oh, this movie!
Well, thank you. I'm deeply pleased that you watched our movie and you liked it.
Otherwise, you're on here for a different reason. See how this goes.
Yeah. Well, so thank you very much for having us on. This is a deep pleasure. Hello. Hi. Hello, everybody.
Hello, yeah. So death metal, for people who haven't watched it yet, can you give them an idea of what they would be in for?
Death metal is, I would say the primary influences are the original Evil Dead and Fulci are kind of the two main ones. I mean, there's a lot of influences kind of sprinkled throughout. You can kind of, I mean, if you're a horror nerd, you can kind of watch the movie and be like, oh, they're this idea, you know, to do. But, you know, that's kind of the idea. The core concept is a really scrappy, independent, on a budget, but, you know, with a lot of heart kind of film. Like, I mean, again, like the OG Evil Dead. But, you know, going for, you know, something that's, you know, something more serious, I would say. Because, I mean, there are a lot of kind of heavy metal horror movies in the world, and I've noticed that 100% of them veer in the direction of horror comedy. They immediately go in like kind of a campy direction. They're making fun of, you know, metal and the scene and
Like Studio 666. Yeah.
I would say like the first act or so of our film is I mean, it plays it light because we want to joke around with the characters. We want to kind of poke fun at the scene. You know, Kyle has a really funny scene on stage early in Act 1. But when it gear shifts and it gets serious and now the characters are haunted, we stay in kind of the OG Evil Dead space where it's like we get like one or two lighter beats, but for the most part, it's like, no, these characters are doomed and now we're going to watch that. So, yeah, we're going for gross, we're going for scares, we're going for gore, monsters, death metal.
Yeah. Well, you said there's a few movies that, you know, combined music and horror, but I mean, they're all intertwined. I think there's a big crossover audience. If you're into death metal, you probably like horror.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's like, not everybody who loves horror likes metal, but I have yet in my entire life to meet anyone who was a metalhead who didn't also love horror movies. I mean, there's an entire sub. I mean, you could say that death metal as a whole, as a genre, is the horror movie of music in a sense. And I mean, it comes straight from the core guts of it. I mean, you know, the very first time that the world heard metal was Black Sabbath playing Black Sabbath on the album Black Sabbath. And we open with Rain, and Spooky Bell, and Ozzy's telling us about the scary dark guy who shows up and spooks him. You know, it's right there from the beginning. And so, yeah, it feels like kind of a natural, you know, kind of thing. And ultimately, I made this film because my two favoriteest things in the entire world are horror movies and metal. And when I finally had a chance to make a feature film, I thought, you know what? I'm going to do a chocolate and peanut butter kind of match. I'm going to smush them together. So that's how we made a movie, and that's why we're sitting here.
And I love that you played it serious. There's the fun stuff, but exactly what you said. Like, Studio 666 was a lot of fun. It had a great gore, cool. And I know it's not metal per se, but it's rock kind of vibe, right? And
right.
I think everything you've said is so, like, you could say, oh, it's kind of Evil Dead, and that could feel really like a ripoff, but it doesn't. It doesn't feel that at all. It's like it has the elements of Evil Dead, but it's not like you're trying to make Evil Dead. It's not like that. I feel it's
Yeah, I've seen a lot of movies that try their hardest to just be Evil Dead, to just kind of do a rubbing of it. And the idea is to be influenced by something, but not to just be like, oh, well, here's the scene where this happens. And we have, the influence is very clear. I think that the best laugh in horror come from features that played it straight. Yeah, I agree.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, I don't think there's a single moment in Return of the Living Dead where the characters actually like laugh at each other, but that's one of the funniest movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, because the horror works great in Return of the Living Dead. I always think that the horror has to work for a horror comedy to work.
Yeah, it has to be both. And I mean, again, like another influence in terms of the structuring of the tone of this movie was Blair Witch, in the sense that the first time I saw Blair Witch, I was actually in film school at the time. So watching three dopey film students go out in the middle of the woods with their Bolex and try to knock together a movie, I'm just like, oh, that's my life. And watch them kind of goof around and have fun. It makes us like them, and we're laughing along with this movie. It's a very funny movie right up until it's not.
Yeah.
And then it's like, from this point forward, these characters are doomed. And the first act doesn't alleviate that. It makes us like them because we like people who make us laugh. So that's the idea of like the lighter moments when the band members are bickering or Kyle's making fun of them or stuff like that. And then when things go south, then we're just like, oh no, oh yeah, Devin, oh no, he's gonna nosebleed.
We've all seen movies where you're really just watching to see the people get killed, and it's fun just to see them killed. But it means more if you're into the characters when things.
This kind of thing too is like I love horror comedy as much as anybody else, and I love gore as much as anybody else. But I've read a million screenplays. I've seen a lot of horror movies where you're not taking that time to establish the connection with the audience. And so it's just like, dude, he got his head chopped off with a chainsaw, bro. And it's just like, well, that's nice, but
right.
Unless you tell us why we care, then we don't care. Again,
whoever he was, you don't
even remember.
Again, looking at Return of the Living Dead, it's like we don't get a amount of time with the punk rock kids who are kind of driving around, but like each of them are distinct enough.
Yeah, and they feel like a real group of people, and
like they make us laugh, and we understand who they are. So when they start to die, spoiler alert, it's like where it was like, oh no, suicide, oh no, it's trash. So anyway, that was the thought process. There was it was a measured idea in the construction of how this film came out.
Yeah. This is kind of a tangent of Blair Witch. I see a lot of hate for Blair Witch today, but I think if you weren't there when it came out, I don't think you can really like appreciate the movie because there was the buzz about it. It was like the right spot of the internet where it was around, but it wasn't like if it was today, like everyone would know it wasn't a real movie. But there was this weird buzz, like is this just a legit thing? You didn't really know. And then since then, we saw so much found footage. If you watch it now for the first time after you've seen all these other found footage movies, I don't think it would hit you the same.
Yeah, I think I deeply love the original Blair Witch. And again, like when that movie came out, like half the people I talked to hated it. They was like, "Oh, it's the worst thing I've ever." Blah. I couldn't see anything. I thought it was brilliant, and I still do. To my mind, it's one of the more deeply Lovecraftian movies I've ever seen, outside of actual Lovecraft adaptations like Reanimator, From Beyond XYZ. But it's like, just in terms of mood of the fear of the unknown, it's hard to top. And the only mystery, to my mind, of Blair Witch is why that movie didn't launch a million found footage movies in the same way that Paranormal Activity did. Because Paranormal Activity hits, and immediately that's the thing, where we see dozens of them, millions of them. Why didn't that happen in 2000, 2001, 1999? I don't know. It's one of the mysteries of the universe.
Yeah, a lot of people here, Horror Asylum marketing on Blair Witch was a masterclass.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Hello from Jamie Hill from Skinamarink. Love Blair Witch. But
Hey.
we're here to talk about death metal. So,
Okay,
Kyle,
fine.
we can go back and forth. Kyle, how did you get involved in death metal? How long have you known Mike?
When did we shoot it? 2017. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Since then, it was weird. Somebody sent me a post that Mike put out about wanting to do this movie and was looking for a death metal band or bands, and so yeah, I answered it. Okay, because I had done a movie, I don't know, 10 years prior, maybe not that long, and I was like, oh, it's kind of right up my alley, and contacted them, and he told me it was about, and it was a kind of the same thing that I did. It was wanting to bring, yep, there it is. We shot that in 2008, came out in like 2010, but same thing, wanted to bring death metal and horror movies together a little more than, the movies from the 80s and the 90s, Black Roses and Trick or Treat and stuff like that. And because being in a band, I've been, touring the world. I do all these festivals, and you always see horror movies. Everybody's got horror movie patches. Everybody knows horror movies in the extreme metal world. But when I go to horror cons, because I also do a lot of horror conventions, nobody's familiar with death metal bands, or not that much. Certainly not as much as the other way around. So, hey, why not bring these two a little bit together? And I'm in both worlds, so it'd be great for me for any opportunity to do it. So it just seemed like a cool thing. And I contacted him, and, right away he was like, are we talking about the Incantation? I think that's the way he put it. Yeah. I'm, the drummer for Incantation. I have been for many, many years. And he's like, holy fuck. Well, I can't really have a movie called death metal if I didn't have a real death metal band in it. And I'm like, yeah, he's like, there's no way I'd be able to fool the fans or pull one off on them. So we talked, and actually was on tour, was coming through LA not too much later than that. We met up and we talked Tombs of the Blind Dead and Fulci, and I was like, yeah, we can make this work. So I organized the show. I put a full show together in Cleveland, and he came out to film it, and here it turns out he was able to shoot the whole thing in and around that whole area.
And that's going to be very valuable to make the movie, because if you don't have that setting, that's going to be impossible just to recreate without an actual.
The original idea is primarily within the recording studio, and the studio's in kind of a remote area where we can get the characters will be haunted and they don't have anywhere to run. But the fact that Kyle was able to pull together like a bunch of bands. And also to have Incantation play, establishes it's a movie called Death Metal, and we open and look, there is a death metal band playing death metal. They're right there. Look, so immediately, because you call a movie death metal, and anybody who is a fan of this extreme music is going to be like, really? Are you sure? So you have to lead off and be like, no, it's real. There's death metal in the death metal movie, we promise. And then,
666 is Foo Fighters, not really metal, but
that's kind of again, kind of circling around the idea that most heavy metal horror movies are horror comedies. And the idea that with this one we wanted to go serious rather quickly. But before then, kind of establish our bona fides. It's like it's a movie called Death Metal. They're playing death metal. They're in the death metal land. The only cheats that we have is when I was casting the film, I kind of had to choose between musicians and actors. And I went with actors because I thought, well, we do have scenes where good musicians are playing good music, and Kyle among them. And we do kind of seed our cast with, Kyle makes an appearance. The other guys from Incantation, John and Chuck, Paul John is in there, a couple other people. But for the leads, we had to be like, okay, let's get actors to do the acting.
Yeah.
And none of them actually played instruments, so we had to kind of cheat it by having they're about to play, they get interrupted, stuff like that. So
it's funny. Everybody walks out.
Yeah. I mean, it works.
It empties out. You got one dude.
I mean, it works because we want to show that this is a band on us kids. So it's like we actually kill two birds with one stone. We show that the band is on the outs, but we also cheat a situation where we don't have to watch the actors play death metal. Because it's really tough music to play.
It's like you didn't have to see musicians try to act.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that's the extent of my acting right there.
I mean, there's a couple of them, like Joe Gall, who plays Ramsey, also did a lot. He also helped out on the makeup effects, and I believe these days he's playing guitar with Mushroom Head. So it's like, if you watch, you could be like, oh, well, I mean, there's incantation, obviously. We go, oh, this guy. But it's like, for our core leads, it's like we hired actors to do the acting.
Yeah, wild. I definitely, when you're talking about that beginning part, and it was really funny being like, dude, you were supposed to do this, and like, no, and then all this like kind of humorous bickering that was going on.
Yeah, a lot of it is drawn from, before I went to film school, I played in punk rock bands in Chicago for 10 years. And a lot of it is, just drawn from experiences, just fucking around with your bandmates and, And the core idea was, even back then, back in Chicago, the band that I was in at the time, we cut a demo in this really spooky old brick building. And the whole time that I was there, I was like, man, what if this place was haunted? Because it looks like it. It's shadowy, like you go in the corners. It's really
like
old.
it is.
Yeah, and there was another demo that we recorded that we did it at the engineer's, like his family owned like a fishing cottage that was out, like way out in the middle of nowhere. So it actually plays to a certain reality that you would actually go to like some really rural place to cut an album, because I've done it. I've actually recorded stuff in a place that looks like it was scary and haunted. So it's kind of, again, chocolate and peanut butter. It took two ideas and mushed them together based on real facts of living. So
and the ironic thing is that location that you picked out there in the farmland, Ohio, we're probably only maybe 20 minutes, if that, away from where Incantation recorded majority of all of our records and
really
through the 2000s. Like it was because you're out there by Youngstown, and this was a little place, and it's on a farm. The house looked like the exact house that's on the studio property where the family lived, but it had a big barn in the back, and that was the Mars Compound recording part.
That was a completely happy accident. And a very quick sidebar. One of my I have two producing partners, Michael Alden and Ian Holt. And Ian was on a radio show, I want to say, with another Ohio-based musician named Dan Gutschmidt. And they got to talking. Ian mentioned that I was looking for an opportunity to make a feature film, especially a horror movie. And Dan mentioned, he was like, hey, I have a recording studio and a farm. Is there a movie to be had from there? So I flew out to Ohio and looked around, and I'm just like, yeah. And I remembered the spooky place that I recorded one demo in. I remember the fishing cottage. I recorded another demo in. I'm like, yeah, let's mush those two together. And we're going to pretend that the recording studio's in the basement of the farm, and that's how we're going to do it. So, I came back to LA. I wrote it. I flew to Ohio, and I'm just like, all right, let's make the movie.
And that casting.
And I want to say, just again, very quick sidebar, everybody in Ohio was fantastic. I don't think I had ever even set a foot in that state beforehand. And I had no idea. I got off the plane. I'm just like, all right, let's see what's up. And bands, actors, crew, my DP, James Pizarro, everybody was absolutely 100% fantastic.
Cool. It makes a difference. Like in any job in life, if you've got a good team of wonderful people, the hardest work can really feel good, and you can get through it. And if you're with the wrong people, even if you're doing something you love, it sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of metal, and Cleveland's got a really strong bond anyways, like all the metal bands, everybody, there's not competition, everybody works together.
That's great.
You know, it's a big metal community there among others, the horror and everything, but so I'm glad it worked out for you.
Just want to show Carl wants to know where can he, after he buys a copy of Death Metal, can he get it autographed?
Of course, absolutely. Who was on earlier from Skinamarink? Jimmy Hill. We're actually stablemates. Death Metal has been released by Vipco / Bayview.
Yeah,
and for the moment it's on Blu-ray, and Vipco was kind enough to send me a big box, and I've been just sending out signed copies to podcasters, reviewers, friends, people who gave me a few bucks for post-production. We ran out of money a couple of times, and that's why the story of this film is a little bit longer than originally expected. But hey man, you get the movie done, then it's all just under the bridge, But
wow.
Yeah, Carl, yes, absolutely, I will hook you up either next time I'm in Chicago, or if you send me your address, I'll kick it out to you tomorrow.
Nice.
And you just got to.
I just want people to see it. I just want people to see it, because right now it's on Blu-ray and it's on VOD on Vudu and Amazon. But I've been told that it'll be on AVOD in about 3 months, or 2-3 months maybe. So if you want a physical copy, let me know. I'll hook you up, signed copy, and we're also going to be doing conventions and stuff like that. Festivals.
Cool. Yeah, that is good.
So even though you have distribution now, you're going to do festivals.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it's just like,
it's cool to watch it with people.
Well, I mean, getting the movie done is one job. The next job is to get people to just watch this fucking thing. It's just like it worked for all these years just to be like, all right, well, there it is. And it's like now it's like, watch it, please.
I'm just saying, a lot of people, they go to the festivals to try to get distribution, but
I know, yeah.
But it's cool. You don't have the distribution, go to the festivals. But like I said, it's cool for people to also they get to see it on the big screen, which is the best way to see it.
Yeah, we actually also just played Horror Hotel a couple weeks ago, and the next big one I want to say is, and we had one in LA as kind of a premiere event kind of a thing at a bar called Knucklehead in Hollywood. And shout out to Knucklehead. They were very kind enough to host it. And the next big one is going to be at Gen Con on August the 5th, a Saturday at 11 p.m. It's going to be basically a midnight screening. And this movie was made to be a midnight movie. And that one I'm actually going to be at. I'm going to go there, and I'll bring along a pack of Blu-rays and sign them and pass them out for free. So
nice.
Again,
that's great. That's a win-win.
The original idea of this movie is to make something that plays at midnight, and when the audience walks out, they look like they survived a plane crash. I was like, they would. Oh my god! Jamie Hill. Hi, hello, yes, Jamie, we're stablemates. Hooray for us. Anyway.
Hopefully, Kyle, you said you've been to the metal festivals and stuff. So hopefully, you can make it out to one of these festivals and see the movie.
Yeah, I mean,
with
I'd like to try to get it to play some of the horror conventions in the fall.
That's a good idea.
Like conventions are in the spring and the fall, So I think there's still time to try to get them in. We still got to arrange a few of those. But I mean, I'll definitely get around. It'd be cool to meet some.
Yeah, just off the top of my head, Mad Monster Party. Not only do they have a lot of cool horror, they're one that's more open to a lot of different guests too, as opposed to ones that are just straight up horror. Because they have a lot of musical guests and stuff on the show. So I think that would be a good fit.
Yeah, that's North Carolina one, right?
Yeah, they're North Carolina, and they also the ones come up in Arizona.
Maybe.
No, they don't run Seattle anymore, but Arizona. Arizona in July, so it'll be a really great weather.
It's air conditioned. You're not outside.
I
know. So about the experience of watching the movie, I wanted to. I mean, everybody's great, but I'm terrible with names. The guy who owns the place,
Fleming.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
Engineer.
Great.
Yeah.
Aussie guy.
The actor is E-Ray Goodwin. He is he's primarily a stunt performer.
Wow.
And true story. We were having our auditions, our casting. I'm sitting there with the casting directors doing the process, and he walks into the room with an axe over his shoulder. The dude walks in the room with an axe over his shoulder. Yeah, it's pretty much just like it's his to lose. It's like all he has to do is just not suck at this point.
He wasn't even there for the movie. He was
just walking by.
Yeah, E-Ray is absolutely fan. Like, he threw himself into the role. I like that. It's not even his real accent.
Really? Great.
Yeah, he crawled up into the character. He's got like a lot of the best lines in the film because he's a very big personality, and could kind of bring that energy. And I mean, it's fantastic. Yeah, everybody loves E-Ray.
Yes.
Is it supposed to be like an Aussie, like Australia?
No, weirdly enough, it's supposed to be kind of sort of Scandinavian, but you're not supposed to quite tell. You know, the idea being that he's like, the backstory of the character is it's like he's like an original like member of Mayhem who like everyone starts killing each other, and he ends up like murdering his girlfriend and fleeing the country. And that's the ghost that shows up halfway through. And I don't explain it because I want the audience to just kind of wonder about it. Yeah, but it's like, he's got this entire backstory where like people have tried to kill him, and he's murdered somebody, and he's fled the country, and like he's kind of a little bit underground. But along the way, he's become, kind of this. I name a famous producer. I name him Fleming off of the guy Fleming Rasmussen. Just the idea that he becomes like this kind of sought after name, and they're really excited. It's like, oh shit, Fleming's gonna do this. Wow, it might actually be a good album then. But then of course they get there, and he's got his home. He's like
crazy.
It wasn't until I seen the movie second or third time that I realized what he's drinking the whole time too.
Yeah, it's moonshine that he makes.
Well, I'm seeing him right off the bat. He's just killing that sippy cup thing, and I'm like, what's so dominant about that, And then it wasn't until later, nobody touches my moonshine. I'm like, a couple times I watched the movie. I don't know why.
The idea is
there's so many things in that movie that you won't see right away. That's a movie, and I have watched it a few times, obviously for other, numerous reasons. But I do. I catch other things in the movie too. And I think it's great.
That is kind of the thing is, in full disclosure, we had X amount of time and X number of pages of script to shoot within those production days. And in the course of that, we were performing on-set triage. Like I was straight up just yanking pages out of the script. Like James and I would kind of sidebar, be like, all right, well, we have 6 hours to do this and this and this and this and this. And I'm just like, gone, bong. And so there are, I won't say holes, but there are elements of the characters that in, I would say like maybe a studio film, we would get a scene where the characters kind of sidebar and be like, oh, well, you remember when he was a kid and and we would actually get like the story explained. And with this, not only for production needs, but also just in the editing, I kept pulling back and pulling back and pulling back and pulling back on that. So there's elements of the characters that go almost completely unexplained. And like it might be confusing, but I think that it's the kind of thing where you want to watch the movie a second time And you can kind of like, for instance, the relationship between Shadia and Ivan. I used to have scenes where we explain like how they got together and their weird relationship and why it's so fraught, but also so powerful. And I just yanked it all out. I'm just like, let the audience figure it out from watching the two characters interact. Again, a happy accident, but it's like, but yeah, we have like moments. Like every character still has like a moment where we kind of go, "Oh, it's this kind of guy." Like Johnny has kind of a moment. Like Baphomet is pretty upfront, la la la. But and again, there's no scenes where the character is like, "When I was 6 years old, my dad was mean to me, and that's why I'm a bad guy now." And it's just like, no, it's like yank, 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 all of it gone.
And I think it makes a lot of sense. Like you said, you can assume that the audience is going to, make their own correlations with people they've experienced in their life and the behaviors of people they've seen around them. And it's like, oh, like you said, that is this kind of person. That is this kind of person. And they can fill in the blanks whether or not they like them or not as characters, like as their personality styles.
Yeah, they feel like real people.
I would say that one of the reasons, the primary reason that this film took the time that it did to wrap is I did a cut in Ohio, and I ran it through the entire post-production process, and I ran out of money doing that. And at the end of it, I had a cut that I could have released, and then I showed it to my partners, I showed it to friends, and I watched it. I'm just like, there's no, this is terrible, because it was slow, it was long, it was very fluffy. And so what I did was I just went through it again and again and again, and I stripped it down to just the bare elements of like here are who these characters are. Get to the scores, get to the gore, get to the scares, get to the death metal. We showed up for we sat down and watched a movie called Death Metal. Get to that stuff. So
is that hard to do as the director, to go in and cut stuff that you filmed? Because I always assume like you have a lot of connection to stuff, like even like the memory of filming it, but you have to look at it as a movie.
Yeah, that was actually one of the lessons I learned in the post-production process, was that original cut was as long as it was because it was too fresh in my memory, the work that people put into scenes that I would then later on be like, well, I know we spent 6 hours and everyone murdered themselves and it was hot and they were sick. It was 2 a.m. and it sucked, but it doesn't cut together. It doesn't work. And, at the end of the day, the buck stops with me. If it doesn't work, I was directing it. So I wrote it, I directed it, and it's on me. Yeah. But, I also have the power to yank it up. so anyway. So now it's a real lean, mean movie, man.
How are you feeling about the final product? Knowing what you had and what could have been in between, how do you feel about you can't be like, well, I don't like it, but how are you feeling like you did what you wanted to do and you're satisfied with your accomplishment?
Yeah, because ultimately the goal I achieved the goal of the movie, which is to make a scrappy, weird, gory, scary, independent horror movie in the style of the original Evil Dead. And at the end of the day, that's what we have in hand. So it's just like, oh, well, mission accomplished. And if you can see my nerdery for Italian horror kind of sprinkled throughout, then that's icing on the cake. That's a bonus. I know, Kyle has mentioned it in the past. He's noticed it. Not everyone understands what they're seeing, but Kyle does. He's as much of a horror nerd as the rest of us.
Yeah, and I like that there's a lot of actual gore, and I was really impressed. I'm not going to give away some of the scenes, but yeah, some of those I was like, oh, good, he pulled that off right.
Yeah, I have to say, because this is without your head, the station of decapitation, there is an amazing decapitation, and that's as far as I'll go. But it's fantastic, and also very weird, which I appreciate. Yeah.
I will have to mention there are $40 worth of maggots in this film.
Wow, that's got to be a lot.
You usually hear gallons of blood. This one's for
Yeah.
amount of maggots.
When there's pig guts, our FX guy, Great House, went and got real pig guts. So when you see pig guts, it isn't latex and whatever. It's guts from a pig that died in service of this film.
Did your cast know that when they were in the presence of pig guts?
I will say this again, going back to the casting process. Caitlin Newberry came in, and I will say 100% of the people in this cast, generally speaking, when you're casting, like someone walks in and like within 10 seconds, you just know. Like I cast everybody in this ensemble, like in my head, like the moment they showed up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some of them are more overt, like E-Ray and his acts, but like, Nico immediately, it's Johnny, Caitlin, when she came in, I'd seen several other people who were good. And I was just like, well, here's a happy problem to have. I have like 5 or 6 people who are good. And she came in and it was just like, oh, her. Yeah. Obviously it's her. And, just in the course of that conversation, I'm like, listen, if you get this role, just understand that I'm going to take you to a farm in the middle of nowhere and I'm going to dump like fake blood on your head. Are you cool with that? And she was like, oh yeah, absolutely. So she's like, that's why I'm here. Like, sold. Yes.
That's the person. Yeah.
Because that's the other thing too that I encountered with 100% of the people that I worked with in Ohio, where their cast, crew, everybody was kind of a can do, let's rock, let's do it. There's no preciousness. There's no I don't know, Hollywood. It's like,
No divas.
hey man, we're making a scrappy independent horror movie for like $10, but at the end of the day, it's going to be gory, it's going to be scary, it's going to be cool, and your name's going to be on it, and we're all going to bust our fucking asses to do this, so it's good and it's fun for the audience, and and we're just like, let's do it, let's rock, and so.
And a lot of that are in my After Party Massacre movie, so that literally was made for $10. And if you get a chance to see that, and if you see what we put them through in that one, yours was a breeze.
This one definitely also has death metal and gore. So, hey, man, Kyle, you're
nudity and lots of nudity.
There's nudity and death metal as well. But it's like, Kyle, you're making a name for yourself. You have an aesthetic. You're an author.
When I mentioned Kara Joy Reid, who was in the film, she said it was one of my all-time favorite film sets to be on.
Yeah, Kara is absolutely wonderful. And I mean, again, in terms of like, just very can do, it was like we needed a ghost to show up, and she's kind of gory and scary, and but we also need scenes where she's beautiful and kind of haunting. And it was basically like, hey, will you drive down to Michigan and be on a set with a bunch of people you've never met in your life, and we're gonna dump blood on you? She's like, yeah, sure, let's do it, let's go. It's like that. So, awesome. She was great, awesome. Can't recommend more highly everybody that I worked with on that film, Kyle included.
Oh,
shucks.
What did the other band members think of the movie? For Kyle,
being in it or watching it,
or but both, I guess. Doing it and then the finished film.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, they were all just as excited. They're all horror fans, especially Chuck, our bass player. He's the taller one that I had the conversation about the sexual disease that he may have gotten across the seas on tour. And so no, everybody had a blast. And then we watched it. They enjoyed it. I mean, it's it's a fun film.
I will say, just as a little thing, the scene that they have, we just kind of like threw together with the actors. I grabbed 2 of the actors. I'm like, listen, there's a version of the scene that's written out. Can you I'm going to go shoot the merch table scene over here. Can you guys just kind of improv this out over here? So they did like just kind of a bunch of takes, and the scene I just kind of like cut together. And in the original version, like John is just kind of there, and I felt bad because I'm just like, well, you know, there's Kyle's riffing on these guys, Chuck is being funny, and John's just kind of there. So I like went through like every cut. I'm like, let's find the take where he's got a line.
Yeah.
And so it was like, aha, there he is. Yes, I got a line.
Didn't he say something like, oh, you know, I don't get to say anything?
Yeah, well, I know. John, if you're listening, I found a line. You got a line in there. I mean, on top of the fact that like he sings an entire song and he goes, "That's fucking metal," and it's like he's basically the star of the movie for a little bit.
Yeah,
but we also want to give him a line.
He's got enough. Yeah, but his line, does he say you should get that checked out? I think that's what.
Yes.
That's all he says. When me and Chuck are talking about, you know, what he may have picked up across the pond.
But it is one of the funnier scenes. It's like, you know, when you guys are, because one of the key things is we kind of riff on the band name Abba Sinister, because it's kind of the idea of like goat, horror, skeleton, witch, where you kind of take two spooky words and you smush them together, and that's your band name. So yeah, I should also say that for the merch table scene, I got real T-shirts printed up.
Oh,
and
nice.
I got like Dan Guchmet got me like a deal from a local person.
Nice.
So it actually made more sense to buy like get 1,000 of them made up.
Wow.
So for years I had like almost 1,000 Abba Sinister T-shirts sitting in James Pizarro's garage, and he finally sent them to me, and now they're over there. I know. I have hundreds of Abba Sinister T-shirts, and I am more than happy to give those away for free.
I'll wear it here on the show. That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, I mean that's you know, the only reason I haven't been mailing those out is because they cost more. It's expensive. It's weirdly expensive.
Yeah, shipping is expensive.
I'll send you shipping a self.
Yeah, this is $3.
That's easy. Yes. Self-addressed envelope. Yeah, that's how it used to be back in the day. Yeah.
So yeah, like shirts. Like when we had the screening at Knucklehead, I was like, take shirts, stick them, wear them, and you know, hopefully enough people see death metal that eventually people know what the fuck Abba Sinister is. It's like you know, otherwise it's just still a free shirt you can use to wash your car.
Someone does a lot of eBay. I know the pricing has gone way up. It used to be about $2 to send something first class.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be more than happy to mail them all over the world and be like, here, take them.
Yeah, international, like, don't even. Then you're getting into like $40 or $50. So.
Yeah, I'd go broke instantly if I tried to like actually like send people these T-shirts. So you have to hit me up in person, I guess. But anyway, what else? What's going on?
This is from Craig Muckler, who produced Microwave Massacre in the 80s, and he's come back to make movies. But he just wanted to wish you guys good luck, that he's done a lot of cult films, and they're all independent, and good luck to you guys.
Cool. Yeah, that's the thing, man, is like, you know, it was tough. I spent every penny I had in the world on this film, and you know, it took some doing. But at the end of the day, I'm very happy with the film. I'm happy that people are enjoying what they're seeing. I mean, it's very like everyone reacts to it. It's like they understand that they're watching. Like it's not The Conjuring, you know. It's like again like the original Evil Dead. It's very scrappy, independent. You know, it's all about it's like I would liken it to early death metal, where it's very raw. You're probably hearing it like on a traded tape, you know. But you're just like, what the fuck is this? You know, that's the idea.
Along those lines, seemed like it was a lot of it's filmed handheld, which kind of gave it kind of like a documentary kind of feel, which I thought really added to the movie.
Yeah, James is he's got like a deep background in Steadicam work, and I showed up. Here's me. I showed up in Ohio with like a 92-page long shot list, and he looked at this and he's like,
no.
we're not going to have time to do 92 pages with them setups. And I was like, they're just ideas. He's like, but you know, here's what we can do. We can take this entire page of stuff and we can squish it together in like one long move. Like one of the shots that I like the most is when the band first arrives on the farm and they're just kind of like walking around and looking around. Originally, that was like a 17 shot kind of thing where it's like the hand on the thing and they get off, and this guy looks this way, this guy looks that way. And James just throws it on Steadicam and just follows him. And as another happy accident, like the sun was coming down right then, so we get this really beautiful golden color. And it's like, oh shit, we're making a real movie. But yeah, it's like, I went into this like kind of over preparing in the sense that like I was like, we have to get shots of everything, and so instead it's just like as much as possible. It's Steadicam work, or else like you'll notice like some of the scenes are purposely very choppy, and that's me like trying to create tension by grabbing little pieces of like a big longer scene and punching in on stuff. So rather than do 25 setups for every ECU, it's let's do one long scene, shoot it in 8K, and then chop it up into what we need. And we have the strength of the file to kind of punch in where we need to. So anyway, there's a method to the madness. I promise. It's like I meant to do it. I promise.
Colleen, it's more fun and punchy. Independent films or something infinitely more personal and entertaining instead of cookie cutter industry babies.
Yeah, I mean, that's the idea. It's like, and Kyle can speak to this as well. It's like, because he loves independent movie as much as the rest of us do. But yeah, it is. I understood that we don't have the budget, we don't have the situation to make. And I'm not saying Conjuring movie pejoratively. I'm not putting that down. I'm just saying that that is a different animal in the zoo. And we're kind of over here. We're cooking hot dogs. On
That's what's kind of fun lately about some of these weirder independent movies getting theatrical releases. Like Terrifier 2 goes to the movie theater, and I always think it's probably like a lot of the audiences are going to see it who like Conjuring movies, and then they just see Total Madness.
Good. Yeah, that would be kind of weird.
That's part of the fun for me of seeing it in the theater.
I hope that's what's happening.
Kyle's been very quiet. Throw a question at Carl. Kyle.
Well, one thing I would like to say on the note, having no money. So, I do got to thank all the bands and the Agora and Chris and everybody who put that on, because, nobody asked for any money. All the bands, including Incantation, set that whole thing up, and it was just everybody was happy and was just honored to be a part of, because I think, we got the venue for next to nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then, all the bands, Faith Extractor, Shed the Skin, Embalmer played. Yep. And who was Eric Wagner's band? He had a couple bands before he died.
Blackfinger.
Blackfinger, yeah. Not so much death metal, but it was a great band to have a part of. I think that was all the bands that played.
Later on, I brought in the Convalescence, and and again, just to speak to the music, I owe every band that showed up for that gig an immense amount of gratitude, and I had in the one thing that was better about the earlier mix was I had the room to kind of find a really clear spot for each song. And what happened was I ran out of money and I had a shit cut in my hands. So what I did was I shortened it, and I was able to find another producing partner, Perry Loop Productions. They came in and gave us financing on the condition that we use music that had been written and recorded by the son of the woman who runs Perry Loop, who had recently passed away. So in honor of his work, I had to basically take all of the bands that we had on the soundtrack and kind of shove them into one concentrated scene so we can make the room for Adam Bratcher's music. And what I intended to do was to then do a montage medley of the songs anyways over the ending credits. So The idea being that Embalmer showed up and played, if Faith Extractor showed up and played, Shed the Skin, we would see like them playing off to the side, and we would hear, you know, a good chunk of the song that they played, X, Y, Z. And in the course of doing the ending credits, I had to leave New York. I had to run back to LA unexpectedly, ironically, because we thought we're going to be making another horror movie. And while I wasn't there to kind of oversee the final ending credits version of that. So anyway, the point being is to my message to the bands who are in this movie. I know. I'm trying to, if we sell enough of these guys, then I'll have the money to go back into post-production and redo the ending credits so everyone gets their due. And there's actually a couple of typos in the ending credits. So it's like, we have to fix the typos and we need the music. So
you're like, yeah, well, that's too late for that. I'm like, okay, well, note it for next release.
it's like and this isn't a knock on the post-production team. They worked really hard. They're fantastic. But it's like, if I'm not there, pointing at the screen, then they're left to gas a little bit. And, again, the buck stops here. It's at the end of the day, it's on me. But, so yeah, if we can generate enough income on this earlier release, and we can put out a version where we get all the bands and we fix the typos in the ending credits, and this will become a collector's issue.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
Plus, you never know. I mean, he did record audio the whole night, or at least a couple songs from each band. So
no, Kyle, actually.
No
one hit record on the board that evening.
On any of them?
No, none of it. So we have. You'll notice that like
versions earlier on.
You might, like, when you guys are on stage, you might recall that I asked you do you have like a clean version of the song? And you guys actually like went in and knocked one out. You actually remix it with
we did that. Yeah.
And you sent that to me. So like the version that you see in the movie, that's that version that you record later, and we were able to sync it to the camera audio. But for like Embalmer, Faith Extractor, Shed the Skin, what I did was I went online. I bought the CDs online so I could take the clean version, so at least the song was still in there. But the idea is when we redo the ending credits and we put everyone back in and we get them on stage, then we'll be able to sync from the camera audio to the clean version of the song.
I didn't think that was all of them. I remember that at some point. That's why I thought maybe it was just a couple songs that we had recorded.
So, at the end of the post production, I was like, hey, where are the tracks for the live tracks for the songs? Forgot to have to record on those. Okay. Well, call an audible. Here's what we're gonna do next.
Horace Island wants to congratulate Kyle on the new Incantation music video. It looks great.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you know what? All that dropped today. Today was the official announcement of the new record that comes out in August. The new video came out today, and first date of the European tour starts tomorrow. If you're wondering why I'm not in Europe, because this is clearly my basement, my studio. I don't do live touring anymore. I retired from touring a couple years ago. I do all the studio stuff now. So because I'm getting old.
You missed that.
Yes and no. I mean, I do. I miss it, but it was it was getting to be too much, because I also run a construction business. So years and years, I'd play Rockstar all night, and then 2 hours later get up and do my schedule and run the business from the phone. And, it's just catching up with me. And I should be having more fun and enjoying, and I'm not. I'm trying to figure out when I'm going to sleep. And, so, and then I've been around the world 100 times, not 100 times, but many times over. I'm not missing anything now. But I love that 40 minutes to an hour on stage. The rest of the time, the staring at asphalt and the hurry up and wait and all that. Run with it, But
now it frees you up to do more movies with Mike.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm yeah.
Mike's excited.
Yeah.
More gore, more horror.
Yeah.
Now Mike knows. Make sure that record is happening.
Yeah. That.
He has had his moment to come clean on our podcast, and moving forward.
Yeah. I will, if it makes you feel any better, I forgot to hit record when I interviewed George Buttergeit, who the director of Necromantic at a festival.
Yeah, I mean,
are we recorded now? Are we recording?
Yeah, yes. The new setup records automatically.
I'll just throw it out there that no didn't actually click to broadcast this. And
yeah,
I did.
Well, we might have actually at the same time because I was clicking it because I noticed that because I went to. But anyway, it's going.
Film production is on its best day barely controlled chaos. So when stuff like that, I'm the director. It's on me at the end of the day, and I could say, well, I had 19 other things going on. Yeah. Still my job to remember thing 20. It doesn't matter, but. It is, you can either beat yourself up over it or it can be like, well, shit happens. Let's figure out a way to fix it. Yeah. So.
I don't want to forget to give a shout out to Diablo Joe, who did a great audio review and a written review of death metal and kind of started this interview to happen. And it's a great review. Very cool. I really like the audio reviews. It really adds a lot to the site. And I was glad that you guys, watched it and reached out, and this came about.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I used a pull quote and I put it on the one sheet.
I sent it to him the other day. I was like, "Hey, look at this!" Yeah,
absolutely.
He's really knowledgeable. He's great.
Yeah. So.
So what's been there? What's been the What have people thought of the movie so far? What has the feedback been?
I mean, everybody understands what they're watching, but 100% of the mic.
Yeah.
100% of the people who have watched it have appreciated the gore, which is again thanks to our excellent practical effects team, House, Becky Ingram, Joe Gall. Everyone likes the gore, and a lot of compliments for the cast, and which surprises me not at all. Even when I was showing earlier cuts of this to just friends of mine and whatnot, like I just for the hell of it, I sent an earlier cut to Craig Perry, who produced the Final Destination movies. Oh, wow. I was like, "What do you think?" He was just like, "The cast is great. Like you cast really well, man. And everyone's fantastic." I'm like, "Yes, that's true. Yeah." So, and not everyone likes the metal. And that's kind of the thing is I'm circling all the way back around to the top of the conversation. Not all horror nerds, horror fans, whatever you want to call them, love metal, but all metalheads love horror. So, some reviews are just like, well, you kind of have to wait through this awful music video, this music deck, and they're just yelling, and then finally you get to the horror movie. So it's like, on the one hand, you make a movie called death metal, and you have to pay it off by death metal.
Right. I was going to say, there's no
movie.
You gotta have like folk music playing or something.
There's no false advertising. I think you kind of warned them in advance.
But yeah, if you're not into death metal, and you hit play on this movie, like if to you it's just then it's a little bit, you have to kind of climb over that hill to get to the rest of the movie.
Well, maybe it scared them. Scared enough that they don't like it.
Well, that's kind of the thing, man. It's like at the end of the day, not every movie is for everybody. It's like it's a movie called death metal. I mean,
that Rocky movie wasn't for all that boxing.
Yeah, like silly. I'm looking for the Burl Ives death movie.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if you called a movie country music. Country music, and it's like, well,
don't be surprised.
All right, well, you sit down, well, I'll watch it anyways. And it's like, you know what? I watched this movie, country music, in the first 4 minutes, nothing but a band playing country music. What is going on?
That coming?
But at the same time, when I was having a conversation with Pete Castro, who runs Bayview Vipco, who's releasing our fine film Death Metal, the original conversation is the idea is if everybody who likes hockey at some point in their lives watches Slapshot.
Yeah.
You know, or I wouldn't say everybody. You know, I would say everyone from a certain age and above. Gen X and older. You, in all likelihood, you've seen Slapshot at some point in time in your life. You know, so it's that idea. I mean, you call a movie, you know, basketball. You know, and if you like basketball, eventually you'll watch. Oh, there's a movie called Basketball. I'll watch that. You know, so it's, you know, the pitch is right there in the title. Look, he's playing Death Metal. Look.
Yeah. I'm all about the death. You know, metal.
Yeah. And it's also shocking that the title was just sitting there.
You know, kind of going back to something you were saying in the beginning about the idea of, you know, here's this basketball movie that all the basketball people are going to watch. But if they actually know basketball and the people who made it don't know basketball, they'll know and be like, what the hell is this crap? And it's the same thing here. If we didn't actually know what
there are. Yeah, I'm kind of to that. There are still like small things that keep me up at night a little bit. Like, for instance, speaking to that opening sequence, Abba Sinister is posited to be this band who everyone thinks is broken up. They're falling on hard times. You know, they're kind of flying apart. But we posit the idea that Incantation is opening for this band. In the real world, that makes absolutely no sense because, of course, the mighty Incantation. You know, these guys would be like 7th on the bill if they're lucky. You know, but you know, just purely because at the end of the day, for the same reason that we have actors playing the guys, it's end of the day, it's still a movie. So we had to have Incantation there. Incantation gets off. They make fun of the band. The band tries to go up.
Make fun of it because that's kind of an inside thing too, because that shit happens all the time.
Really? Okay.
Well, it's
it could be like someone knows like somebody.
Yeah.
Or what, yeah.
You know, there's a lot of tour packages where there's a hot new band and they'll be direct to a headliner that shouldn't be headlining that, you know. So there's always that going on too. You know, you get shafted, you know. Strong band actually, you know, they're direct support, but they're the main support.
That's funny.
Yeah. So yeah, I think bands
not quite real, but real-ish. That we can kind of squint to go.
Yeah.
Yet another reason to not tour.
Excuse me?
Said, yeah, another reason to not tour.
There you go. Like that. Like, this is the tour we're doing. I don't know if I can take that every night. So, you know, we may make fun of Abbas after every show. Abbas what? Abbas who? What? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good luck. Enjoy, you know, the crowd. And, you know, but that does happen, though. You know what I mean? You've got a strong direct support. And then when a headliner comes on, half the crowd leaves the show. You know, you see that shit all the time too. There's a lot of truth there. There's a lot of inside, which happy accidents. I'm sure that wasn't, you know, written exactly supposed to be like that, but
right, yeah,
the way it goes down a lot.
And
you know, and we've been doing this 30 years, so we've seen it more than, you know, one time or another.
So at the end, it's in memory of Adam Bratcher. If you wanted to speak about him.
Yeah, that is the name of the son of the woman who runs Periloop, and he had passed away, and he was a guitarist and vocalist for a death metal band called Casket Sacrifice. And the idea being that that company would come in and help us complete post-production, because I was every penny that I had in the world was already in the movie. I was tapped. And she was like, you know, we'll come in and, you know, finish out post, but we want, you know, some of Adam's music in there. And so we chose 3 songs that he had written, and, you know, and again, it's like, you know, very prominent places. And then also to wrap it with a picture of him, and we went through his Facebook. We went through his Facebook, and we found one of him throwing horns with George Fisher. And you know, while I was still in the studio, I hit up Kyle. I'm like, "Hey, do you know George by any chance? Can we get his okay to use this?" because I didn't want to just like throw it in there because there actually is a Cannibal Corpse song in there. It's one that Shadia plays on the ukulele around the campfire. So like, you know, Cannibal isn't like in the movie, but like they're, you know, a song by them is there, and then we rap on Adam throwing horns with George. And in another kind of way, a friend of mine who I was very close with, we lost him while we were in post, and he was also in a death metal band, so I made sure that a song of his was in there, his old band Prophecy of Azrael. You know, so in a weird kind of a way, it's a movie called Death Metal, and we have, you know, music by multiple people who are no longer with us. And, you know, the idea being that this is a very close-knit community. You know, it's one of the best things. I mean, not only do I love this music, but I also love the community as a whole because, like, for instance, this is one of the only types of music where, like, you can go to a Devourment show on, like, a Wednesday night and it's raining. And it's, you know, the 300 psychos in the city of Los Angeles, you know, 8 million people, the 300 nutcases who are going to go out for that show are there. Like, you walk in and you're immediately surrounded by all of your best friends. It's like I've gone to a lot of shows by myself. I walk in and by the end of the night, I'm talking to like, you know, 6, 7, 8 people because it's like, oh, dude, Black Dahlia murder. And it's like, yeah, yes. It's like, oh, King Parrot. You know, it's like, and you just, you know. So anyways, it's that idea of kind of speaking of the memorial of people who, you know, are as passionate about this music as we are. And we want to remember them in the course in somewhat a semi-permanent manner of film. So that's the idea.
Yeah. And obviously George was super cool about it.
Yeah, he was great. Yeah.
He asked me, and I just called George, and he was like, well, let me see the picture. He asked a guy, hey, do you care if your picture's in this movie Death Metal? Let me see the picture. So, you know, I had to tell him why I was, and he's like, oh, yeah, okay, totally cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we're not going to sneak in like a plumber crack shot or anything like that. You know, it's like, no, it's like,
you know, I think I was short on, like, you know, description. You know, hey, George, I got a picture in a film that I'm working with a buddy. Can we put it in there? And he's like, what the hell's the picture? Like,
which is a completely rational question.
What do you mean, George? Why, just say yes.
No, I get it. It's like, you know, he doesn't want to be sitting there watching death metal, and then it's like, you know, him with the, like his ass hanging out or something like that. Like, you know,
and we toured together, so he knows me. So that could have been something really shady.
no, that's really funny.
Something you had on your phone. Or, so, Colleen, aside from The Evil Dead, was there any other film or maybe specific metal song band you intentionally made a nod to in death metal?
I mean, probably. I will say there is a scene where the characters bicker about exactly what they think their sound is. And it's kind of making fun of the, you know, like online and like metal, you know, things. People will be like, well, no, that's actually brutal tech death. No, it's black and thrash, you know, la la la.
Yeah.
There is like a kind of a certain, like, I don't want to say elitist, but like, you know, kind of hair splitting in terms of, well, you know, is it
they do that in horror too, horror movies. So yeah,
exactly.
About what genre something is. Yeah,
I mean, it's one of the funnier, you know, again, crossovers between horror and metal, but just like, you know, I've watched people like bicker really intensely. Is this grindcore or power violence? It's like,
oh yeah.
Do you like it or not? It's the what it should be done.
It's like, you know, so I know we do have like an entire scene where we kind of do a nod to that, where the guys are just like, I don't know, I always thought that we were X, Y, Z. We are. I thought that we were Stoner doing tech death brutal, you know, blah blah blah. Like, so yeah, it's and there's like little nods here and there, like throughout the movie, kind of the same way that there's like little influences, you know, kind of, you know, in Act 3, the way that the demons speak to Shadia is a little bit Cenobite-ish. It's also a little bit influenced by the end of Galaxy of Terror, which I realize is a deep cut, but I really love Galaxy of Terror.
You need a giant worm to. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's
Oh,
that too.
yeah.
But, but Galaxy of Terror, the idea that these characters are kind of killed in these vignettes one by one, and then at the end of it, they all show up, and we see, they're ghouls that have come back in the manner of their death. So it's like, there's a little bit of influence from there, but they talk to her in this very mannered way. That's a little bit like Cenobites to a certain extent.
I was
or a
thinking
little bit-
Cenobites. I actually wrote that in my notes when I was watching it for that scene.
Yeah, and also a little bit, but I'm not in a threatening way. The idea was that they become enlightened in a way, that they're happy. It's like, no, you're gonna love getting murdered by the evil power of this cursed song. It's great. And like, they're not trying to be like, oh yeah, just take one hit of crack, Johnny. It's not like that. It's like they actually are. They're like Cenobites. They're just like, oh boy, pain really is cool. It's like, it's awesome to be tortured forever. So yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of horror, if you're a fan of death metal, like, it's very much a movie by, for, and about horror and death metal fans. But without being like we try not to be meta, I'm not crazy about meta stuff, like wink wink, just like this movie. It's just like, we want influence, but not like, hey, just like this other movie, so so it's like little things here and there. It can be like, oh, that's a little bit like that scene in The Thing. There's a little bit like, XYZ. You can see the influences, but none of it is like so it's not Scream 7. It's like, anyway, what else?
Well, would you ever want to revisit this world? Would you, as a sequel or something?
I have about 30 pages of a sequel written.
Interesting.
Oh, very good.
And because I realized that like all of my force has to go to getting this movie out there.
Right.
Like, I'm not going crazy on the sequel. I'm just kind of like, as scenes come to me, I'll write them and just kind of throw them off to the side. A lot of this first movie are dreams that I've had. And it's funny, we're on set and Johnny Yurko was just like, dude, where do you get this fucked up shit? I'm just like, I saw this in a dream like 20 years ago, and I remembered it, and now it's in a movie, and now like you can watch my dreams if you watch this movie. So like every once in a while I'll have like a strong dream. I'm like, that would be cool in death metal too. And so I write out that scene and just kind of throw it off to the side. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but it's like, the general shape of it is kind of sort of coming together while I'm working on other stuff. So that's the idea.
Because there's
Meanwhile, I mean,
like just built to have prequel.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the thing, is a lot of horror, especially a lot of independent horror movies, are kind of chasing the ring of achieving what, like, say, Terrifier has done with Art the Clown, and that's to kind of establish a character who becomes like kind of the ambassador for the franchise, for the world. Like, everyone's trying to find like who's that new.
It is one of the only modern ones that's really caught on, I think.
I mean, I've seen a ton of them try, and more power to Damien Leone for actually pulling it off with Art, and the actor's name escapes me. I'm sorry, but yeah, it's like I mean, Art is like a strong enough of a character to actually like kind of get a hook into that, literally in a sense. With this one, like, it's not driven. This franchise isn't driven. Franchise already. But this idea isn't driven by like a central, like, I don't think that like every movie is going to be about like the composer shows up and gives everyone a hard time. It's going to be more about like an aspect of like death metal. It's always going to be something about death metal in a horror movie, but probably a little bit more of a I don't know. I'd like to have like some characters continue from the first one, but it's not going to be like, here's my mean character who shows up in every movie.
Well, I was thinking like Hellraiser series. You've got everything. There's Cenobites, right? Those are always around, but it's the stories are all centered around the box, right?
Yeah, I think like leaning, like what I'd love to do is like, looking forward, we have, let's wave our magic horror wands and say there's death metal 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The idea being that like in each one, we get a new set of victims who give us a new set of like cool demons, and we get like, but like every film, we will have like really cool set pieces where the character dies and they come back as like a cool demon. And then like, so it's like, again, a little bit like the Cenobites, but just without the central character of Pinhead. So it's just like, in 2, there's these 4 or 5, 6, people who die and then they come back and they're these demons. And 3, it's this set, so, and in each one, they kind of come to their doom in a death metal related fashion, whether they hear the concerto or something else.
Will it always be centered around a piece of music? Because that's what I was thinking, like parallel to Hellraiser, where it has a puzzle box.
Well, I have an idea, and I don't want to put it out there until I figure it out, because I don't want to, because we're live on the internet, and I don't want to say the dumb version of it. But I have like kind of an idea that kind of sort of me. I don't know, but we're getting there. It's like, I don't know. Let me write the script.
That's a puzzle box.
Kyle's haunted beard will be the center of it.
I should put out
beards here. You've got very similar beard shapes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Troy's is blue currently. But
yeah.
Kyle, did you do that on purpose? Did you? No.
You and Troy connected before the show.
We're beard brothers. It's all good.
Beard
brothers.
Black and pepper going on.
Yep.
Yeah.
I should point out again a quick shout out. 3 Floyd's Brewery in Indiana donated some beer to the production because randomly a friend of mine was like, "Hey, there's this brewery that does heavy metal beers. Wouldn't it be cool if you're making a heavy metal movie? What if the character and there's scenes where the characters are singing and drinking beer? What if they're drinking heavy metal beers?" And like just randomly, I emailed her. It's like, "Yeah, send a guy over, pick up a box." So it's like so. In the campfire scene, they're all drinking zombie dust. And we actually shot like a little. I grabbed E-Ray and put him in a chair off to the side, and we shot like a little bit of a beer commercial, a version of a beer commercial, and I've yet to cut it together. I'm going to have to. But anyways, it's like with the bands. It's like with 3 Floyd. So I'm just like I know you did this cool thing. I promise I'm gonna take care of you. But there it is. So anyways, shout out to 3 Floyds. Thanks for review.
Yeah. So you mentioned the Blu-ray a few times. Where can people get the Blu-ray for Death Metal?
Right now, the Blu-ray is available if you go on Amazon.com. It's a website that sells things.
I heard of it.
I think,
Is that new?
You crazy kids.
I think there's a couple other places. Like weirdly enough, like the Blu-ray is a little bit hard to search for because death metal is such a. I kind of screwed myself with this name, this title, because you have to get really super specific because the robot is just like, oh, death metal. Here, listen to some incantation. You're just like, yes.
A new incantation record will come up. So
it's a win-win. So it is a win-win. And what an amazing day for you, Kyle. We're pushing a movie. We're pushing an album.
Dude. Also, I haven't got them, but we'll have the movie for sale at the Incantation shows.
Oh,
not in Europe, but for the States tour that we'll be doing. Actually, the many tours that'll be happening for this new record. You can pick them up there. Plus, I'm going to have them on our web store, so you can get them at incantation.com. The movie, as well as if you catch the band on tour, which there'll be plenty of tours coming up.
Very cool. And Colleen said she's going to buy a copy.
Sweet,
great, awesome. Thank you very much. Every Blu-ray purchase goes towards fixing the end credits. And again, there's still a value to this because it will become a collector's item one of these days. It's going to be like the quarter that has the upside down face on it or whatever. It's like it'll be like the rare stamp where the duck is looking the wrong way. But yeah, online through Kyle, I'll eventually get off my ass and set up something. I know we do have a website, deathmetalhorrormovie.com. Right now, it's basically just a splash page with a synopsis and some production photos. I'll eventually get off my ass and set up like a here's how to order the movie from XYZ, la la la. For now, it's on Blu-ray. It's also on VOD on Amazon Vudu. And like I said, in about 60 to 90 days, it should be on, Tubi, Freebie, la 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 la. So that'll be, if you don't mind watching a toothpaste commercial in the middle of it, then it's free.
Just buy the Blu-ray.
Skip everything.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
A rat is crawling out of my severed head. That too. Ooh, this toothbrush is really nice.
I will say I don't mind those so much, but they are not always placed in a. I think they're just
You'll take
randomly
out of the
placed.
moment a little bit.
Some of them, I've watched some really funny stuff where it's just like I'm watching like really intense. People are getting their heads pulled off, and then it smashes cut to like thanks to my doctor, I no longer have IBS. But yeah, and live at that's why I'm pushing out the screenings a little bit, because in any situation where
That's the best way to watch anything. I can imagine watching death metal with like a group of people who are all into metal and horror. It's going to be a
that'd be so much fun.
I will say
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, if you find me, run into me in any situation, I'll happily sign a copy and give it to you. And an Abbott Sinister t-shirt. Take them, please. But yeah, the goal of this movie was, like I said, creatively, it was Evil Dead meets Fulci by way of death metal. But the goal for the audience that I'm striving for, and maybe I hit this target, maybe I don't, was I had the opportunity to see Dead Alive on a big screen.
Wow.
When it first premiered in Chicago. A friend of mine, in fact, Brian Thomas, the guy who yells beans, that guy, he was the guy that I would go see horror movies with. So like he hit me up out of nowhere, and we had seen Bad Taste, and he's like, hey, I just read in the Chicago Reader that the guy who made Bad Taste, he made another movie about a guy taking care of his zombie mom, and it's playing at midnight at the Music Box. And I was like, yeah, sold to the American, I'll be there. Yeah. And so after having seen Dead Alive, big screen with those speakers, with a crowd like that, and with no warning as to what to expect, like all of it was like 200 people staggered out of that theater, like. And that guy went on to make Lord of the Rings. I feel like we're in like this weird alternate time thread where like the guy who made Dead Alive made Lord of the Rings, and the guy who made Evil Dead made Spider-Man.
It's very weird.
Frodo became Maniac.
That's
right. Yeah.
What's the guy who made death metal gonna make?
Yeah, I mean,
like we remember him when.
Now he's making rom-coms.
I mean, basketball. In terms of shilling the next thing, can I shill the next thing?
Of course.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
so I wrote and produced. I did not direct. There's a movie called From the Shadows, and again, I didn't direct that. It was directed by Mike Sargent. I wrote the screenplay, and I was a producer on it. And same producing partners as on Death Metal, Michael Alden, Ian Holt. That one stars Keith David, Bruce Davison, Selena Andrews. We shot that in New Jersey, and that is coming out in September. September 22nd, I want to say. And with that one, we're actually going to be in a couple of theaters. And then we're going to go to VOD and all that good stuff. So,
there it goes. The new Marvel. Right in the new Marvel movie.
So anyways, that's the next thing that's coming out, and that's later this year. So
awesome.
Very, very, very pleased.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
Yes, I know. We're very happy with the end result on that film as well. So, and then after that, we've got the next set of movies are slowly but surely coming together. We're getting there. So hopefully I'll be getting these 2 movies out this year and next year sometime. If the gods of Hollywood smile down upon their favored son, if the lords of metal and horror give me your Lemmy, bless your son. Wes Craven, bless me. If I get these blessings from metal and horror lands, then we can be standing on a set, next year. So we're getting there.
That's very exciting.
but
I'm
that
looking
was
forward to seeing more
theatrical.
from you.
Yeah, exactly. September, we'll look forward to, going to the movies to check the next one out.
Yeah, 5 theaters, and we're still in the midst of pulling together the LA premiere. So if you're if you're in LA, we're still we're still pulling together the red carpet. So we're looking at a couple of places talking to people doing the thing.
Well,
Neil and I we watched a fun one last week. Limited theatrical release.
Mad Heidi, yeah.
yeah.
We played one night. Yeah, it was very cool.
I've seen trailers for that. It looks really good.
It was so good.
It
Yeah.
was, yeah.
Kyle, have you heard of Mad Heidi?
I have not.
It's good.
Yeah, so a
remember
lot
Heidi,
of head explosions and cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of cheese. Yep.
Okay, I like Velveeta.
Sort of like Sound of Music-ish kind of vibe to it.
Right.
Well, yeah,
right.
because do you remember the old Heidi, the original, where she's living with the grandfather in the mountains? They're making like goat cheese and stuff.
Oh,
Pretty
Oh,
dull thing,
yeah.
But yeah, it's a mad horror version of the original
Yeah.
Heidi.
Wow, okay.
Is there a band called Swiss Misanthrope?
Oh, I hope so. If there isn't, there should be.
That is the band of death metal too, I believe.
Yes.
No, that's definitely gotta be a punk rock band. That's a punk rock band. Let's get three women with instruments. Swiss Misanthrope. Let's get them out there. Let's make it happen.
Give them some braids and we're good to go.
Kyle, where can people find you to see what you're up to next?
I don't know. I guess on the internet. I don't do a whole bunch of social media.
I didn't mean back to your house or anything.
I live at, I have a couple bands. Shed the Skin, which we were mentioning, is in the movie. That's one of my other bands. And we put out a record every couple of years, and we're working on another one as well. So, I don't know. I don't have like my own website or nothing. I'm not that cool. You can just follow the incantation stuff, and that's still my main gig. I'm just not doing live.
And you said that dropped today, that album and video?
Well, the news of the new record dropped today. August 25th is the release date, but today was they do it now. You do it all one blast,
Yeah.
New record, new video, new tour dates, blah, blah, blah. Here it all is. Blow up the internet, for a day and see what the flavor is tomorrow. So, but it went pretty well. The pre-orders for the records, and there's 8 different colors on the LP, like 8 friggin' colors. So I pulled a poster and said, who's going to collect all 8 colors? Because if you do, contact me, because I'm going to send you something.
Collect the rainbow, yeah.
Yeah.
A nice shirt, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can have a Sinister shirt. I have a.
Annabelle and I might be in LA in August, but we might miss the premiere, but we'll see.
Well, Gen Con is going to be in Indianapolis.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah.
all right. So this was very fun, and I would love to have you guys on again sometime.
Cool. Yeah.
So how do we work this? Do we go away, or do we just kind of hang around in the background and watch?
Well, yeah, we got Alice is coming in. If you want to stay a little bit and say hi, that's cool. And if not, you guys can take off. Yeah.
Okay. I'll say hi.
All right. I'm just gonna play a real quick little ad here while we had
trying to say something, sir.
I
What's
just
that,
want to say thanks to the Horror Asylum, I think it was. They said they had a new video. You flashed it a couple times. I just didn't want to interrupt.
No, very cool.
Oh, yeah, cool.
I'll interrupt.
All right, thank you.
He's used to interrupting. I need
Okay,
interrupted sometimes.
take it away. But no, thanks for having me on here. This was fun.
Thanks for doing it.
Thank you so much.
And hopefully it wasn't too painful, your first podcast.
It's fine. Devirginized now. Now I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to be right back with Alice here. 1 second.
Cool.
Hi, this is Doug Bradley, Pinhead from the Hellraiser movies, and you are listening to Without Your Head. And you better keep listening to Without Your Head, or you will not only be without your head, you will be without your soul, because I will tear it apart.
Hello. Here. Alice, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're cracking up a little bit.
AirPods in, so hopefully.
Let me try this here. Does that help at all? Hello? Yeah, I don't know. This is not Yeah, this is we can't really hear you.
At all? I can
hear. I think
my...
it might be coming in all right now.
Yeah, a little better now.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I can take my headphones out and see if that is better.
No, I think it's. I think we got you now. We got you now. So
Okay,
Alice Maio Mackay of Bad Girl Boogie. Very cool to have you here. Which Bad Girl Boogie was just playing at Chattanooga Film Festival today, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So for people not aware, can you tell them what Bad Girl Boogie is?
Yeah, so it's like this punk, like queer character-driven slasher film set like with these like high school misfits, and there's like a masked killer with like a supernatural curse and like generational bigotry and stuff like that. Yeah.
And so it's coming out July 4th, 4th of July weekend, and in select theaters July 7th, DVD July 11th. But it's been playing festivals. Did you get to go to any of the festivals to see it in person with an audience?
I actually haven't for this film. I think I went to the Melbourne screening in Australia for Monster Fest, and I went to the Adelaide screening in Monster Fest as well. But I didn't actually get to tour this one.
That's unfortunate. So, but when you got to see those to watch it with an audience, what was that experience like?
Yeah, it was really nice. I mean, it was like, yeah, I mean, I don't really like watching my films with a crowd usually, but like, it's nice to know that people care enough to watch it, and, you know, seeing those reactions, you know, especially like the scene with the brain earlier on, you know, like hearing what people say about that. That's really cool. Yeah.
Now, you toured with your first film, your first feature film, because I know you were at Salem Horror Fest, which is near me.
Yeah, I only did stuff virtually for that one, but for this year I went to Salem for my third film, so I'm doing more touring with that one at the moment. But yeah.
What's your third film?
It's called T-Blockers. So it had its world premiere at Salem in April, which I was lucky enough to go to, and then it's playing Outfest next month, which I'm going to as well, and then Fantasia after that, and then Popcorn Frights. So yeah.
Now, for people who don't know, when you first made your first film, you were 17?
I was 16 when we shot it. I am like 15 when I started writing it with my co-writer. Yeah.
So at that age, I assume you didn't go to film school. So like, what did you do to prepare to make films? I know you made a lot of shorts.
Yeah, I mean, I think making shorts was like the biggest like film school and preparation I could do. Like right before Severn, I had done like a 25-minute short film. So it was kind of like gradually stepping up step by step until Severn, which I think equipped me enough, you know, to like not be too stressed about it and just make it.
What did you like your family and friends think when you're like, I'm going to make a movie?
No, my family actually really supportive. They're not like a horror fans, like they're not super on board with the genre stuff, but they like the idea of me making films, which is nice, and have been super supportive. And yeah, I mean, a lot of my friends I've found through film or like film adjacent, like arts and theater stuff. So yeah, it's been just hanging out with a bunch of creatives, which has always been supportive and great.
So a lot of my yeah, well, I was gonna say a lot of my independent film maker friends Almost none of them went to film school, but they learned a lot from watching like DVDs, like the extras on DVDs and Blu-rays, anything like that. As far as you're concerned,
I don't know. Yeah, I think so.
Bill Moseley is in Bad Girl Boogie. How did he get involved?
Well, I mean, I've always been a fan of like Rob Zombie films, like a big fan. And then I had this like small voiceover role, and I obviously didn't think he would do it because he's Bill Moseley. But I reached out to his agent, and then she kind of like told him about the film and sent him the stuff, and he was actually on board with it. So I think it only took like a couple of weeks from like sending it to him and then him recording it, and now Bill Moseley's involved in like this punk queer horror slasher film, which I think is, I mean, as a fan of his work, that's just really cool.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Bill's
totally
a great guy.
badass. Yeah.
Yeah. So, is there any reason he's not on the IMDb? Is that just to kind of keep it a mystery that he's involved, or?
I actually didn't know he was not on the IMDb.
Oh,
I mean,
alright,
he can totally be on there if someone wants to add it or hide it, I guess.
Yeah, well, we can probably add it ourselves. Yeah. All right. Well, we
Yeah.
want to. By the way, Kyle, thank you for joining us, and we will talk to you. We will talk to you next time.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I've got a split too, but
all right. Thank you, Mike.
I want to say hi to a fellow
Kyle.
filmmaker. Congratulations on having your movie come out too.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Thank you.
I'll look up the
Yeah.
Bad Girl Boogie.
yeah,
It's a great name.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
absolutely.
we'll check it out
Thank you
first
so
chance we get. But we got a split. Take
All
it
right.
easy,
Yeah.
guys.
All right.
Thank
Thank you, guys.
You guys,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much.
So, by the way, the name Bad Girl Boogie, who actually came up with that?
I came up with that. I was actually listening to like a lot of dad rock music when I was writing it, so I was kind of like, I think it was like a song or something, and then I was like Boogie Man, kind of like Boogie, and I don't know, just like some very music punk vibes. Like, I don't know, just two and two together, and that's how it came about.
It's catchy though. I like it.
It is. Well, it's not generic. I think if you hear Bad Girl Boogie, you're going to be like, "What is this?" I have to check it out. And I don't know what dad rock is.
Dad rock is like you know, like Motley Crue and like I don't know, like
so stuff I grew
Blois
up with.
Call,
I
and like yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. You're the dad age now.
see. Yeah,
Well, you're not an adult. You're the dad age.
yeah, mentally not adult, right.
Alice,
wait,
I'm
Annabelle.
so sorry I wasn't in here. I this is not a knock on Neil at all, but I thought he was going to go to a song and I needed to eat. But I listened to you, and I'm so happy for you that you made your film. You've made a few films, and now here this one is, and I'm very excited for you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I like a lot. There's a few nods in the movie to you have Dario's one of the characters' name, Gary Fulci. So and I think watching it, you realize there's a lot of giallo influences. So is that a genre of horror that you were into?
Honestly, that's more like the co-writer's influence. Like, it's
Oh,
not
really?
something I'm a big fan of. Like, I'm not a fan. Like, I appreciate it, but like, it's not my go-to subgenre for sure.
So what are your inspirations? What is your horror? Like you said, Rob Zombie, but like, what is your? Tell me more. Give me more. I want to know Alice and Alice's inspirations.
I mean, like, I'm a big Gregor Araki fan, so like the way, I don't know, especially Nowhere, not that it's a horror film, but it's like queer teen angst, you know, punk music vibes mixed with like weird alien sex shit and stuff like that. I don't know. It's pretty horrific. So I don't know. I feel like he's like one of my favorite director, period. So that's like the biggest inspiration I have. And then like obviously like Halloween 2 aesthetically, and I love how weird and wacky that film is. Yeah, those are the main ones, I think. Yeah.
So how like a craziness to this film for sure. There's like that wild madness to it.
Thank you.
You mentioned your creative partner, Benjamin Paul. You mentioned that you had a creative partner, Benjamin Paul Robinson. So how long have you been working with him, and how did that come about?
So we've been working together, I feel like since like 2018, 2019. It's like a fair amount of time now. I was on set for this TV show, and then I think he'd just moved to Argentina, so I've never actually met him. But he
Okay.
was like friends with the DOP, and then they're like, "Oh, you have like a similar taste in film. Like, I think you'd like work well, at least get on with each other." And then we did our first short film together, and it's just kind of been from then onwards, just writing kind of most of our work together.
And so you said he's got the giallo interest, and are any of your interests like different from his? So I always think that could actually help working if people have different views, and you could come to a middle ground.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he's like more like giallo and classic horror stuff, and I mean, with Bad Girl Boogie as well, like a lot of like the mask history stuff, and like that was kind of more on him as well, I'd say. So yeah, I think it's just a good balance of like me being more like with like modern horror films and like his like background with other stuff and like more supernatural things. I think it's a good combination.
Yeah,
Who
that's
designed
gotta
the
work.
actual mask? It's pretty cool.
So the actor who plays Dario Iris was like the costume and production designer as well for the film. So they like designed the mask with their friend and they like created it from scratch. I think there was like 3 actual masks we had for the film.
Oh, cool. Did you keep them?
Yeah, we have one of them. So like one of them was like smashed and then one of them was like lost in the ocean. And so there's like one left, which is covered in blood and like a bit fucked. So that's the one I have at the moment.
Yeah. I like that. I
That's
like
kinda
the idea
cool
that
if
one's
it's help.
lost. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that one's lost in the ocean though, and someone could find it someday, washed ashore.
Totally. It was like on the first day of set as well. It's like the scene where the character throws it in the ocean. It wasn't supposed to go as far, but then this massive like wave kind of like hit us all. So it wasn't a great way to start off, but lucky we had 2 more.
Gonna be like
I
an
wanna know.
artifact or something.
Right?
There's gonna be some diver that finds it and
Like,
what the hell
oh!
is this thing?
I was going to say that I mentioned that it's there's a madness to it, but it's also feels like there's a lot being said, about I can imagine many different ways to take this and look at it more deeply. So if you could share more about like what is going on, like it seems like it's like symbolic in certain ways, especially the characters where it's sort of like an abuse kinds of things, and that's many words. So I think you get the gist of what I'm asking about.
Yeah, I get the gist. I don't know. I mean, there is a lot of like stuff going on, not only I guess with like the real world issues and like the more grounded things characters experience, but I mean, then also I guess like the history of the killer and like how like the mask is kind of like used, like I don't know, not because it's not like an excuse for bigotry, but like it unleashes like their inner hatred. So it's not just like some person who's like, I hate gay people killing people. It's like, oh, there's like this deep-seated hatred that's been like passed on throughout generations and stuff like that, as well as like obviously like bullying in the high school and all these different things and like the age gap relationships and stuff like that and substance abuse. So I don't know. I mean, there's like, I guess like surface level, you could look at it just like outcast like teens and like a lot of queer people can relate to that, I guess, and with those issues. And then also, I guess the mask has like a lot of more meaning as well, rather than just a killer, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought it was interesting because when I think curses, I think of something that's been around a long time, and when you think of bigotry, you think it should almost be like outdated thinking, but it stays around and you can't get rid of it. So I actually thought it was an interesting way to incorporate to combine the curse and bigotry together.
Thank you.
And there's generational trauma that goes into that stuff too. Like you mentioned, Alice, about the idea of things being passed down, that hatred. You have a baby and it's not hating anybody. It wants to be fed and held. And then there's this generational trauma, and part of that generational trauma is for the traumatized, like the people that are perceived as victims, and also the people who are the victimizers. Like they're learning that from a place.
Yeah, totally.
Let's see. Colleen wants to know, how did you get on TV show sets?
So like to be honest, I just asked. Like Adelaide, South Australia, where I'm from and like grew up, is like a very small knit like community. Like a lot of shows filmed there with like local crews, but then like a lot of actors and stuff are all like flown from all over the world. So I literally just like messaged a production company that was working for Screen Australia, a big funding corporation. I was like, I'm like a student. I think I was like 12. I love films and stuff. Kind of my passion. And then I was just really lucky enough to get on that set. And then from then, like a lot of the same people work on a lot of the same shows. So it's just being able to go from that set. And they liked me, luckily. So yeah, just from that kind of continued.
That's wonderful.
Colleen says this sounds a lot like a lot of perfect modern issues that would hit teen audiences perfectly, and adds that it would mean a lot to her 16-year-old daughter.
Well, that is really nice. Hopefully it does connect with people.
Well, I think that's a important part of the horror genre. Of course, you can watch it and see all the cool effects and the gore and everything, but a lot of it has messages, underneath all that. And I always think it's a good way to, to tell your story through either horror or science fiction.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've always also really loved like the Black Christmas. I think it was like the 2019 remake. Like I know a lot of people hate on that, but I mean, it's a film aimed, I guess, for younger female audiences traditionally. But I really liked how that was like a fun slasher film, but also it was about toxic masculinity and like hatred and like rape culture. I don't know. Like that was really impactful to me watching that. It's still one of my favorite films. Yeah.
Well, since you are from a different generation, I'm interested. What are some of the horror movies that made you want to become a filmmaker?
I feel like I don't know. I feel like Black Christmas. They like all three of them actually are like big parts of like wanting to become a filmmaker. Especially like the third one, because that was like, oh, I can see like these more relatable stories and like what I want to tell. Also be involved in mainstream horror. Craft Legacy as well. I'm listening to all these films that got panned, but like that was like my like I don't know. That really meant a lot to me. I think that film. And was also like, I don't know, there's a place for me at the horror table. Yeah, those two, Scary 61st as well. I just fell more in love with like filmmaking and horror. Yeah, I think those are my top three.
So when you started doing the shorts, how did you send those to festivals? Did you put them online? Like, what were your ideas to do with them?
Yeah, so I think like the first short I made was like this like
Uh-oh. You still hear it?
Alice, if you can hear us, your sound cut out.
You may have lost Alice.
Oh no.
Hello?
But she's still present because the little like
She made a comeback that first time. She could
Yeah.
do it again.
Exactly. Hello? I know she's in Australia. So
Yes, I was going to ask about that too, and I don't know if she's listening, but just to like fill up a little space, is I'm so curious about what her experience is of bigotry in Australia. And because there's bigotry worldwide, but I'm wondering what it's like there. Just like in the States, different parts of the country are dramatically different from other areas of the country. So I'm going to be interested. If she makes it back, I will really want to know more about that. This idea of having a place at the table and what is that like for her there.
yeah, unfortunately,
Oh no.
Yeah, unfortunately, she can't hear us either. So I think we may have.
She may be making a comeback.
Yeah, I think she just tried to pop back in.
I popped her in and out to see if it worked.
Okay.
I don't think it's working.
Oh no.
Unfortunately, but I don't know. But I hope people check out Bad Girl Boogie.
Oh yeah,
it's coming out next week. It's cool that there'll be a physical release later in the month, July 4th. It'll be on digital, select theaters July 7th, and on DVD
nice.
July 11th.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
And her first film, Severn, is currently on Shudder.
I want to see that one so much.
Cool.
I saw that.
I'll have to check that one out.
Just the poster art, like this,
Yeah,
looks great, and I have to watch it.
And her third film just premiered at Salem Film Festival, which is really wild.
Yeah, and I've mentioned Salem Film Festival before. We've talked about different festivals. It is all about inclusivity. Like that is the heart of the Salem Film Fest, is about providing a space for people who are marginalized to be able to have their work out there, and it's really a wonderful thing. It's a great crowd. They do not put up at all with any kind of nastiness from not
Colleen,
nastiness.
Nice. Colleen, that's amazing that you have seemed totally unafraid to chase your dreams. Absolutely admire. The best of luck to you and all your endeavors. Very nice.
Agreed.
And I'm interested too where it's going to be playing. I'm going to look into that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not listed until closer, especially for limited releases.
Out in Australia and maybe not released in the US.
No, because this was set up through an American thing. So yeah, it's going to be
Wow, that's fantastic.
She'd like to take her teens. Yeah, I'm really interested. I'll look more into that, and we'll update on the show and in the Facebook group.
Yes.
So maybe we're gonna play a song from Tim Fife, and if we get Alice back on, we'll continue. If not, we'll talk about some other stuff.
Okay.
Does that good? Sound good?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Look at your phone though for texts that are communicating to you during.
Yeah, I have it on here. Hopefully it works out, but I understand things do not. But we're gonna go to break here briefly. I've got a song here from Timothy Fife, Music of the Month, and then we'll be right back. 3 minutes and 2 seconds.
Hi, my name is Kevin Kepi, and I am your nightmare mom. And you are watching Without Your Head. Head.
Yeah, so I was gonna rotate liners, but I kind of like the Kepi one, so I've kept him for a little while. He's getting a lot of airplay here, Kevin Kepi, but he's a really cool
Like,
guy.
this is familiar, but it is really cute. So
Yeah. He recently someone was looking for a tall, slender person to play a monster thing, and I recommended Kevin Kepi, and looks like he got the role, so that's very cool.
Nice. We've had a few slender acting folks on the show.
Yes. Yeah. I think there's a certain look that's needed to play the play monsters because it's easier to add. You can add bulk on, but you can't necessarily take it off.
Very true.
And then there are a couple of them that are bulky and they're needed. So there's like different body types that are needed depending on.
Definitely, absolutely. There's a place for everyone. I hope Troy's coming back because, well, I don't know. I don't want to like go down a road and start opening the can of worms if you want to like, but I do want to talk about the Troma thing.
Yeah, we'll wait for Troy. He's checking on his dog, so we'll wait for him to come back for that part.
Meanwhile, what's going on? We are doing Dinner and a Movie this weekend live for stuff. One of them is Indiana Jones, I remembered, and the other one is
the uncut Infinity Pool. Yeah. So I'm a big fan. I loved Infinity Pool, but I've not seen the uncut version. I only saw it once. I saw the theatrical cut, and I didn't really even know there was an uncut version until Justin Bernard Head went and got apparently they put it on Blu-ray, but only in Canada. So he got the Canadian Blu-ray to watch it. Was that?
Those Cronenbergs are from Canada.
That's it must be one. And so you have to have like a region-free player to play, I think. So anyway, I happen to see that it's playing at Brattle Theater, I think this weekend only, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And so that's going to be pretty sweet. Annabelle's never seen it at all, so I'm very excited to see it.
Some of it kind of in my tradition of movie watching in my free time. It kind of runs, and I hope to absorb it.
Right.
Sometimes I'm good and I sit down and pay attention. Like if it's stuff that we're actually going to interview people for, then it's like I have to be a good student and watch it. But yes, but to see it on a big screen, uncut, I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be excellent. And it's such a divisive movie. I've seen so many people, to put it bluntly, bitch and moan about it.
Yeah, I have too. Yeah. Even some people some of my filmmaker friends have really not liked it. I was really kind of surprised, but I really like Brandon Cronenberg movies. His last, the previous one before this, I thought was great.
What were the grievances? Like the grievances I can think of are that it's like not Cronenberg-y enough. Like it's his son.
Yeah, I'm not really even. He's really got his own deal. So like, he shouldn't really just make what he thinks his fans of his dad would like.
Or some people feeling like it's too.
I don't know. A lot of people didn't like it. I'm not really familiar. I know I'm in part of a group chat, and most of them really didn't like it. And I'm not really positive why. I thought I'd asked a lot of cool, interesting questions. It's really well acted, great cast. It's very, very weird. I don't know. It hit a lot of things for me that I liked.
Is that Infinity Pool?
Yeah.
Did you see it?
I haven't seen it. No.
Yeah, it's the uncut one's playing this weekend at Brattle.
Oh, nice. I didn't know there was an uncut version.
No one did.
Okay, all right. So at least I'm not just out of the loop.
So yeah, Brattle. Troy, do you have a
Alexander Skarsgård.
Oh,
I know. Like Alexander Skarsgård got his start like as the sexy werewolf on what's True Blood, but I think he's a genuinely good actor. He's in some kind of bad like he's in that new Tarzan and stuff like that. That's not particularly great.
Not really
but
his fault.
I think when he's I think when he's in something where he has more, you know, he has a platform to act in. I think he's actually very good.
Yeah.
Like this.
I agree, because like he was the high spot of yeah, the TV version of, well, the second TV version of The
Yeah, I never
Stand.
watched it. Yeah.
He's about the only bright spot, though, I'm afraid.
He plays Randall Flagg, right?
Yeah,
he
and he's
does?
perfect. He's perfect.
Interesting.
He swaggers around. He's a cool Randall Flagg.
Reading it recently, I think he's the guy who played him in the old TV version does not fit my idea of watching of when we're reading it. It does not match. Nothing against the guy.
No, yeah.
I mean,
just
that
not
was
him.
a little. That movie wasn't especially accurate to the book either.
No, that's what I thought this one would be, but it wasn't either.
The best part of that one was the what's his name?
Matt
The trash
Frewer?
man. Yeah.
Matt
yeah.
Frewer,
Honestly, Matt Frewer, I think, would have played a better Randall Flagg too.
Probably would
Yes.
have.
Can you be on the show?
And it's funny because on the new one,
Matt Frewer.
the guy from that's the Flash in the new Flash movie, he's the trash can man in that one.
Huh.
And he's really quite bad as
Oh, really?
Tragedy. Yeah. He's not very good at all.
Very sad.
And from understand the shorter version of the book, because they originally put it out shorter, I believe, and they cut out like a lot of stuff about Trash Can Man, and to me that's like some of the best stuff in the book.
Oh yeah.
If anything, I will say this: like obviously Stephen King's a great writer, so, but I know I'm going to be in the minority of people who blasphemy, but The Stand, the book, needs to be edited down. There's like 500 pages that could be out. Once the build-up's great. Once they get where they're going, there's like a whole novel of them like rebuilding society and like making like censuses and
yeah. You don't really need to know a lot of the council meeting stuff, and then they leave out in both versions. The guy that the trash can man bumps into on the way, the kid. And the kid is like
great.
the
It's
scariest
super
fucking
dark
character ever.
That kid is I haven't read this in a long time. But the kid was the guy that in the book from the beginning, he was like kind of sociopathic, right?
Oh, big time. Yeah.
Right.
He takes Trashy and he rapes him with his pistol, and like he's just not a nice man. He is a bad fella.
Trash is so great in the Trash is so good in the book because like there's you really feel sympathy for him too. He's not just a villain or anything. He's it's an interesting character.
And then you see the kid in one of the Bernie Wrightson illustrations. I don't know which version of The Stand has him, but he's great. He's just this evil little guy. He's just not a nice little man.
Did he do I know there was, I think it was the first publication. I was a kid, and I think it was the first publication of that larger story, and they had these cool little black and white guys.
Yeah, that must have been it, because there's a bloated like corpse that like is so Wrightson. Like you see it, you're just like, oh my God, I love this.
I'm looking it up now. I have to know. But you guys can still talk while I'm looking.
Oh, okay. So that's all I want. If anybody ever makes a version of The Stand, I just want this scene. That's all I ask, I don't ask for much.
Yeah. Yeah, I would like to see a real version. I know there was I always thought like, and I'm sure this is probably asking a lot because Stephen King would get huge money for each, movie and each title. But how they did Game of Thrones and how the plan idea is for Interview with the Vampire, where the series would be each season's a novel. I know the Interview with the Vampire series, the first like 2 or 3 seasons are going to be the first book, which I've heard people complain about. I don't get that either.
It. I went berserk for it. It's one of the best things I've seen in a long
I don't even
time.
mean the show itself. I haven't watched it.
Oh, okay.
I mean the idea that they're going to spread out the first novel over like 2 or 3 seasons. Why that would be bad, I think that's good because there's so much instead of cutting all this stuff out and getting like a small version of it, like you do in a movie, if you have a series and you can make 2 seasons out of it, why wouldn't you do that?
Absolutely.
Unless you're stretching it out. I mean, that's the thing, I guess.
Yeah, if you have a short story and you're
line.
stretching,
Yeah,
that's one thing.
But a lot of these shows now are like 8 episodes or something, so it's
Yeah.
easy to do, you know.
Yep.
So my idea was it probably wouldn't be like money wise really makes sense for King, but if they would do a show where each season or a couple seasons would be one of his books, because then you could give them the actual space they need, and then you follow up.
That would be tremendous.
Stephen King is concerned about money. I honestly don't. I think that he does what he feels like doing.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll support what he feels like supporting. And if he thought that he could have that happen and work, I totally think he'd be on board for it. But you have to really believe in it. Like he has Flanagan doing all this stuff because he really believes it. Flanagan was no one, right? Mm-hmm. Basically, I've contacted this person. Maybe we'll have him on the show sometime. We'll see. But they were just a regular guy. Mike Flanagan is just a regular person, and Stephen King was like, "You're the one. You're gonna do the things." So he didn't have to stick with it. He chose to because he has the power to do it.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens.
Let's see here. So we were waiting for you to come back to talk about this, Troy. And we're gonna have him on the show next week live, which we're very excited about. Before that, let me show this real quick.
Okay.
Oh, did you get the the bloated corpse? It's so gross and gray. It's so gross and gray.
Yep. Typical rights and shit, come on.
Amazing.
Whenever I get too big for my britches, if I'm doing a little pen and ink, I just look at rights and stuff and go, I suck.
Do you have no, stop it. Do you have like a blow up option there?
It's not on this, unfortunately, but I can just save it and add it in here.
That one's so loaded, like that whole book, like I think Wrightson probably does maybe 20 or 30 different illustrations in it, and they're just also beautiful.
He's incredible. It was one of the people that really turned me on to horror. Was just yeah. I was in the library peeking at freaking Stephen King books like it was porn. It was like, someone's gonna see me looking. And Bernie Wrightson's art. I was like, look at that thing. Oh my God.
It's just so great.
Gross. This like slumpiness. Oh my God.
So I had never read The Stand, and then right when at the beginning of COVID, I was like, maybe I'm gonna have a lot of just time, so I'm gonna and so I started reading it, and this was at the beginning on right when things were shut down, and so we didn't know like what was really happening or how bad things were going to get. And the beginning,
that was a great book to pick, Ben Neil.
No, it was not. So the beginning of The Stand is very much like that. Like it is the beginning of a pandemic, and the idea of like they really go into detail of like this person has this, and then they go to the theater, and then there's this person got it from them and brought it home to them, and I was like, oh, I can't read this right now. So I stopped reading it for like a couple months until, when things were like, they're not great, but we know like it's not going to become The Stand. So then I
remember that actually, now that you say that came up in like, I think Stephen King does most of his interaction with the public in Twitter. And because people were noticing parallels between The Stand and COVID. So people start going down that like, Stephen King prophecy.
Little too similar,
Yeah.
Captain Trips and
it gets much different for people who know, then it becomes much more spiritual and things like that.
Yes. So Troma, what the hell? What is going on? Troy, you know about this, right?
I don't think I do. I didn't think I was in the loop before. Now I know I'm not.
Troma.
Why? What happened with
Troma? Off of YouTube. Told everything's fine. You could look it up right now. I did it, and it's like, sorry.
Whoa.
That doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's been totally banned.
Did they give any reasons? Is anything?
So I guess, and Neil's familiar with this because he does all the YouTube stuff, that's like a 3 strikes policy.
Oh.
And I didn't do a lot of research time, but when I found out about this, my mind went to places as to why this could have happened. And it seems like it is not so much about bots trawling through YouTube, because there's so many, and people were posting about this. There's all kinds of nudity and nastiness on YouTube.
Oh God, yeah.
Like, look for 80s horror. You better believe that there's just a hint to everybody out there. You can go and you can find all kinds of crazy, nasty shit. And so if that was a real thing, this wouldn't be new. Troma has been on YouTube for how long?
I will say it's not necessarily 3 strikes, because they're pretty vague in a lot of their rules. And they also say that they can just like delete you at any time if they think so. So
Oh.
If you're bad.
Yeah.
If you're bad man, bad woman, bad person. So Troma was bad man and deemed inappropriate. Let me pull it up. I'll pull up the thing, because so Lloyd had posted about this on Twitter, Lloyd Kaufman, Troma Man, and was like, hey, this is happening. Please, like take to the airwaves and burn it all down, because it's bullshit. It's just crazy.
Wow.
Let me find it. Oh, this is not what I want.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reason why the Severed Limbs is moving to Kick, because the last Severed Limbs, even though I marked them for 18 and older, they said it was, and it's very weird how they word it, the nudity, because I've got the emails, and they don't. It's not just nudity; it's nudity that is intended to provoke you or something. I was like, come on.
Oh. Well, usually though, YouTube, I know at work I can't look up certain videos, because of the school. Like, they'll block things, so I don't see why that,
Arouse. It's nudity that's intended to arouse you.
Aha. So like,
as opposed to, I don't know, medical nudity or something.
Oh, maybe.
So let me see if I can present it.
Well, that's so weird, though.
Mess around.
And then, like, you're asking, like, who's saying this is arousing? And
let me try to do this. How do I share my screen? Just click the share screen.
Could you show nothing that's like any type of like?
Neil just isn't.
I mean, just regular ads like for toothpaste and stuff have stuff that's tried to arouse people.
Oh, big time!
Like Facebook ads are a lot more graphic than a lot of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do they titillate and arouse?
So, okay, I've got it here. I'm not going to try to screen share. It's too much of an effort. So this is the message that Lloyd Kaufman got from YouTube. Hi, Troma Movies. We have reviewed your appeal for the following, because it had happened and he tried to put in an appeal. Appeal for the following, channel Troma Movies. We reviewed your channel carefully and have confirmed that it violates our sex and nudity policy. We know this is probably disappointing news, but it's our job to make sure that YouTube is a safe place for all. I'll get into my feelings. How this affects your channel. We won't be putting your channel back up on YouTube. Thanks, the YouTube team.
Yeah, what a
wow.
It's gone forever, and hours and hours of your stuff's deleted forever.
Wow.
All your
That's
your
a slippery slope.
That's
not a good trend to start.
Bud.
It's crazy.
Wow.
That is so. It made me fucking pissed.
Yeah, that's totally wrong.
I get wanting to not you don't want to be like go Nazis and shit like that, and then there's adult discretion.
Yeah,
like you said in the
exactly.
first thing is, not every movie is for everybody. But I'm not going to tell. I might not like a lot of things, and I might think that they're bad for people. I can think that, right?
Yeah.
There is entertainment out there that I think is not helpful or healthy, and that's not my decision to decide for other people what they can and can't do.
Right.
I just can't do it. It's
if somebody's worried about their kids, kind of watch your kids, see what they're watching. That shouldn't be on Lloyd or on, YouTube to make some decision like that. That's ridiculous.
So from what I saw because I was pissed, and that whole like phrasing made me think, why did this happen? And it turns out that usually this happens because people report things.
Oh,
and I'm just thinking, what fucking up their own ass idiot would report this? Like, it's fucking Troma. Like, this is cool, you don't like it.
You can just avoid it if it's not for you.
There's a lot of things that people can criticize about it. Totally.
Oh yeah.
Totally. Like, Neil and I watched that movie, Shakespeare Shitstorm. There's all kinds of crazy madness. And I could see people being offended. Oh, that was an interesting coincidence. I saw a post sometime in the middle of the night when I couldn't sleep that was said something about there's a difference between being triggered and being offended. They're not the same. And I think people do have to realize that. Sometimes we won't like things because we feel offended by them. That doesn't mean we're getting traumatized by them. Sometimes maybe you will. Maybe you've had a trauma and something will make you really feel endangered. Because I'm a counselor. That's a real thing. Yeah. But my God.
My God. You can't whittle everything out just in case, like.
No, because eventually you have nothing. Everything is potentially triggering or offensive to somebody.
Yeah,
it was funny.
And that doesn't mean that they don't have the right to feel offended or anything. But
absolutely.
It also doesn't mean that everything has to be sanitized to a point that who eventually what are you going to be left with?
That's why it's always my advice to the kids with weird allergies, if you have a latex allergy, don't expect everyone in the world not to have a balloon just in case you're going to be
and that's unfortunate.
You might want to keep an eye out for this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely. Like my nephew, Adore, has a life-threatening dairy allergy. Guess what?
Oh, yeah.
We watch out for that.
Yep, exactly.
The things like that, and I know like peanut allergies is airborne, and that's very. I can't comprehend that. But that's kind of the thing.
Yeah, you got to do your homework, if you're
danger. Yeah. I don't know. There's like different levels of danger to look at. It's not black and white, I guess is the bottom line. Things aren't black and white. There's different areas to think about. What's offensive and what is actually truly propaganda damaging.
Right, exactly.
Bad, like straight out bad. Like I don't even know what to say. Like if there's some KKK propaganda video being circulated through YouTube, I wouldn't feel so great about that. But
no.
That's all this is.
Yeah, that's madness right there. That's just not good.
It's not. And it was so funny because earlier when I was messaging Neil about it, and he responded about from the point of view of like the Christian. This is not me passing judgment, but there is a very extreme Christian right that does kind of want to. Trauma is very polarizing in a lot of different ways. So there's people from all walks of politics and belief systems that don't like it. So
it's weird. There is a big right-wing following to the Troma films who I don't really think they understand a lot of the points of, especially the actual
just
Troma
take it for like face value, and
it's like honestly, there's an audience that like the Romero movies who I don't think understand them either, who are very right-wing. I see them on Facebook.
Yeah,
the same thing with music. Like there's a lot of music that people will use as like this is their theme, like Pink Floyd stuff, Another Brick in the Wall. Guess what? You don't know what that
a perfect example of that is Born in the USA.
Yeah.
So on the wrestling side, there's the MAGA. This guy, the MAGA butcher, used to be a necro butcher, and then suddenly he became very Trump and stuff. But whatever he wants to do, I don't care. But his theme song is Born in the USA, and a caller always says about it. And I was like, have you ever listened to the lyrics? It's like, it's not this gung-ho, rah-rah patriotic song. And it's really stupid that he uses it as a song if you actually listen to more than than Born in the USA.
Yes. And so I think this just goes in both directions. There's people that are so want to see what they want to see, for better, for worse, that shapes their reality. And it's like, I don't know. I know I make art that, even like stuff that we all make stuff that's could be offensive to people.
Yeah.
Right now, we could be offensive to people. And what? You shut us down or ban us forever? I mean,
the new shirt I put on Amazon was pulled down for Psycho 8 because they said that it was intolerant of mentally ill. And I did assume that this was just a bot, as Annabelle said earlier, that picked up the word psycho.
Oh, okay.
And so I replied and wrote. I also tell people don't. I wrote in the thing, be civil when you do contact YouTube on Twitter or something. I think that's more helpful. But it wasn't helpful here. I wrote a nice email and I explained it's a movie and all this stuff. And they wrote back, and it was a person, even said their name. They said no, it violates. And
wow.
And so then I went through Amazon, and there's literally like tens of thousands of things that say psycho. There's little kid shirt that says cute but psycho, and there's a pretty popular brand, Psycho Bunny.
Things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wrote all this. Boom. Again, it doesn't matter.
Nothing. Wow.
You pissed someone off.
Yeah, that's freaking me out a little
Someone
bit.
targeted you.
So the ideas are, I've seen people saying, "Oh, well, we all got to go by these rules or whatever." And as Lloyd said, sometimes you think, "Oh, whatever," until they come after you. But a lot of these people in this realm, maybe they don't do nudity, but they do gore. They do these.
Oh yeah.
Once they go after one thing, like we also offended by this, so let's take all of this off of YouTube. So.
Mm-hmm. And the whole, like, it needs to be a safe place.
Trend.
Like YouTube isn't a safe place. And I actually did write like a not civil, like, I never used Twitter, but I did. And it's like, so I don't know if you know who, I don't know if I'm pronouncing right, Eugenia Cooney. And it's really sad. It's this girl, straight up anorexia. This is a bone. This is a bone. And she has lovely hair that is probably not hers, because when you have eating disordered section, this is my trigger warning, eating disordered section, because I do know that can be really problematic. So tune out for a little bit if you don't want to hear about eating disordered stuff. So she is a bone, and she's got like maybe even millions of subscribers. And people are commenting all the time, like, you need help, you're sick. And then there's people who are like, oh, I think you're beautiful. And I'm going to find her so you can see what, I mean, this isn't an exaggeration. Girl is a bone, and she's been on for years. So YouTube can keep up this actual alive human being, this child who is truly sick, pretend she's not, is influencing people in all kinds of ways to be afraid for her and to emulate her. So that's okay. But these stupid, batshit crazy movies that are not real, that has to go away. Come on now.
I'm totally fine if they do, because I do this on certain, especially on the severed limb stuff, which I'm not going to do, unfortunately, more. But I'm going to do them, but not on YouTube.
Yeah.
Is you mark them adult only. And so I'd be totally fine if they say, hey, you got all this stuff you have to mark adult only. That's totally cool. Because I'm an adult, we're all adults, so we can choose to watch that stuff if we want to. And so that's all fine. But the idea that no one can watch it at all, if you're an adult or not, I don't think is cool.
Yeah. Well, like you guys were saying earlier, it's like that Nemo,
and as Colleen says, art is subjective. It's exactly. And it doesn't matter if I personally like it or not.
Yep.
Yeah, like I might hate Rob Zombie movies, but I'm not going to say don't make them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
It's like I don't.
And if people don't stick together on that, then that's when it becomes one of those. Like,
I agree.
The Niemöller poem where you're doing they came for the communists, but I didn't do anything because I wasn't a communist.
Mm-hmm.
Then they came for and by the time they get to you, there's nobody left to help you, so.
Yes.
That's not a good thing. Not a
No,
good thing at all.
Neil, did you get that picture
Yeah,
of
I'm
this
just
girl?
trying to.
All right, so this is really bad. This is a picture of this girl from 8 weeks ago, and she's been getting smaller and smaller and smaller. She's a bone. You see this, right?
Yeah.
You see this girl? It makes
Oh.
me emotional. Like, I feel like I could cry.
Oh.
I'm like, got to keep it together.
Oh.
I have to keep it together because this person has hundreds of
Oh, that's
thousands
scary.
of viewers
How
watching
old is
her.
that poor girl?
She might be. I know she looks like a kid, but that's
Oh,
part
man.
of this. It's like this is a sick person. I worked in an. I won't even go into it, but it is. It's very upsetting to me that a bunch of stupid,
Yeah.
goofy ass movies that goes away. But this, because they're making money off of it, because there's millions of views.
Yeah, that's, people are there to support her, and tell her, hey, don't go down this road. That's,
Some are, but there are people who are eating
Yeah.
her that are looking to her as like an
Well,
inspiration. I will go and say it. I worked in an eating disordered unit of residential for teenagers. And they are inspired
oh, yeah.
very much by each other.
Yep,
She
big time.
is, I just had it, 28.
Oh, see, because I thought she was like 16 or something like that. Yeah, that's just sad. That's just,
It's awful. So, yeah, but the point being that I just think it's really gross
yeah.
that
Yep.
people can be more concerned, people, not just YouTube, people can be more concerned about stupid movies
Yep.
and this kind of thing. Like, if you're going to give a shit about something, go into the world and do something constructive.
Yep.
This doesn't matter. It
Yeah,
doesn't.
if you're looking to help somebody out, like, making Troma disappear from YouTube doesn't help anybody out.
It doesn't fucking
That's
matter.
just ridiculous.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yep.
So it very much pisses me off. This just seems like, I don't know.
So I'm really looking forward to talking with Lloyd next week, and so it's glad Ambo brought it up. And Lloyd, I always like to talk about to anyone who's worked with Troma because I think it's interesting the different takes people have. So last night was a bonus episode of Without Your Head with James Balsamo, and I talked to him about his experience, and he said without working for Troma early on, he would have never went on to make his own movies. And he made no money for him. He actually got paid. They would give him what they call shakers. It's DVDs with the DVD would be loosened, so they couldn't sell the box. And so that's what he gets paid. But it's what
that is classic, though. I love that.
Yeah, learn to make movies and had connections and stuff. And I thought it's a great story. And then we talked a little bit about this issue. And so it'll be nice to have Lloyd on because I do want to ask about, did he get warnings? How did this work out? Because I know a lot of people are just, guessing there was all these. I don't know if there were or not. So,
and if it's just individuals that can throw like a, oh, I'm offended by this, then, you could just get any five idiots together and say, I don't like this. Well, let's get rid of it then.
And interesting too is we've had Lloyd on many times over the years, ever since the beginning of the show. And I remember early on him being a big advocate for YouTube and also trying to keep it where everyone is equal playing field on YouTube, which isn't the case anymore. But it used to be everyone was. So even if you had you have to get followers stuff, but you could have no money behind you. But if you put out something interesting people wanted to watch, you'd be the same as a big company who did it. Now things are different. But he was a guy that was part of the building of the platform.
I remember when he always used to talk about that. Yeah, because he was all like
net neutrality.
All in.
Is,
yeah.
Part of that,
Well, that's a shame, though. That's just like. I don't know what to say. I'm kind of blindsided by that. That just weirds me out too much.
Crazy. And like the idea of small groups of people having control, it's on Facebook too. Like people are banned all the time for stupid shit. And again, it's like do I think that KKK video should be out there with people like doing their crazy shit?
Oh,
I don't think that's a great idea, but I think the vast majority of people are not doing that kind of stuff on Facebook, and they're just getting booted, and it's crazy. It happens to Neil a lot, right?
Yeah, that's why I don't want to say, but maybe they have backup things. But the some of them recently have been just because I tried to be like not to be like super PC or anything, but just no, like I can't say certain things. Okay. But like there was one last year, I talked about the professional wrestler Christian Cage, and I got banned. They said it was a hate crime towards religion.
Wow.
And so I wrote a big thing. I was like, this guy's name is Christian Cage. He's a professional. We were doing a live like video. The guy was wrestling.
Oh, so you didn't like his match, so you hated on all Christians.
Yeah, I hate Christians.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that one, I think was a bot, because as soon as I hit enter, it comes up, we've reviewed this. And I was like, wow, this freaking speed reader here. He read those 3 paragraphs in not even half a second. Like, nope, still gone.
And reviewed your 3-hour video at the same time, which is pretty good.
Yeah. I will say YouTube recently, I did have someone review it, and they and it turned out positive. So they reviewed, they said that we could not monetize without your head anymore because it was reused content. Supposedly someone on YouTube thought we were just uploading a show that someone else made, I guess. I have no idea. And so I had to go through, I had to film, I had to make a video explaining and showing how we do the show. So I sat here in my little studio with my video, and I had to show that I have multiple.
Wow.
I got a laptop, I got an extra screen here, and the lightings and all these things. And then go up in my room, and then I had to do a video of how I edit it with the different programs. And like, it was nice that they were like, oh yeah, this is fine. But it was very time consuming and like seemed like completely
how often
pointless.
can that happen? Can that happen once a week? The
That's
next
another
whack
thing,
job
right.
that like says, "Oh, I'm offended by this." Like, then you have to prove once again that. Because I mean, that would be another way to, like, if they don't want people there and they want to push people out, well, we're going to make you justify every time you do a video. I mean, that's ludicrous.
Yeah, on the wrestling show, literally every week, it comes up that the show cannot be monetized because it's like, I don't know what their reasoning. It goes against the standards. And so I started to challenge that, and every time but one, it's like 99% of the time. One time it didn't go through. They come back and say, oh yeah, we manually reviewed this and it's fine. But the problem is that takes like 3 to 5 days. And the first day is when most people watch it. So that's the day you're going to get the most ad sales. So every week I don't get the ad sales for that video when it first goes up and it gets all the views. Now, if someone happens to go and watch it, weeks later, then it might be all right. But it's every single time as after the live show's over.
Wow, that's just crazy to me.
And another thing with the YouTube stuff is that, so banned, right? But that is how many years of content?
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
That's like, it's like that is become the internet archive, right? Where people.
I was thinking about that Facebook too.
That's so true.
Like a lot of people, all their photo album is contained on Facebook.
Yes, and it's really hard to download. Like you can't download I'm going to download this photo folder. It's a really
yeah.
And with the YouTube and Facebook, and I know other social media, but those are two big ones that have been around so long that they have a lot of content. Like maybe you've got TikTok and a million tiny videos, and you got that too. But this is
my wrestling TikTok was totally. I have no idea why it was deleted.
Really?
Did it give you any reason for that?
Nope.
Wow.
Completely gone. I can't even log into it.
Wow.
No reason given. I tried to contact, and just says it's been suspended forever.
And there's
like, oh, thanks. Yeah.
Really crazy stuff on TikTok. They also have cute animals that I love. But kinds of
Some strange times we
It
live in.
is.
Yeah. And
And
actually, a
you know-
couple of the Without Your Head ones recently were not banned, but they were censored. So I just deleted them off TikTok because then they got no views because they're
Wow.
censored. But those
Damn.
were some of the Diablo Joe audio reviews.
Oh, no kidding.
I think they were
That's
too graphic
crazy.
visuals, but I don't know, they weren't nothing's very graphic in them. So.
And they give you no time. You know,
Mm.
it's that like it's gone. You know, it's not like,
Mhm.
hey, we're seeing this thing and do something about it, or hey, we're gonna get rid of you, so download your content.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
You have even if you couldn't upload stuff, like here's so many days to download it all.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Similarly, when GoDaddy really screwed us over on Without Your Head, we had 17 years of content there, and I paid a lot of money for unlimited host, and then one day they were like, "Oh, you're over your limit." It's like
For
3
your
days from now.
unlimited thing? Okay.
Yeah, 3 days from now, it's all gone. I was like, "What the fuck?" And luckily, Tyler had like backed all this stuff up because I don't know how I would have
Wow.
done. And I still actually don't have all of it back up because it's 17 is like
Oh,
very
just
time
years
consuming
and
to
years of
re-upload
stuff,
18
yeah.
years of content.
And with
Wow.
like the social media, you have all the content and you have all the conversation.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yep.
any kind of interactions, any kind of people making connections with each other, with the creators, whatever it is, you've lost all of that.
Yep.
And it just sucks. And I know they don't owe any, like these are companies and they don't owe us anything. And at the same time, it's like
They also still make
And-
YouTube themselves a lot of money too. I mean, look at all they
Oh,
get a
yeah.
huge cut of, if you get super chats or I'm sure the subscriptions are the same. Well, they are because I started. You can join the Headyverse on the wrestling show. I just started that, and they take 30% right off the top, which is a pretty big,
Wow.
pretty big percentage.
You're not kidding.
Mm.
Damn. Yeah, because they're still getting all their ad revenue and all that stuff. So, like,
Yeah, you only get a very small
30% of your
percentage of the ad
things, like-
sales when they put ads on your stuff.
yeah. Damn.
Yeah, it's a scary place.
Yeah.
And it's
But now
like,
they have these, these giant things on there. They don't need a lot of the smaller people's
Yeah.
money anymore.
Oh, that's probably it. Yeah. So they're like, yep, screw the people that have thousands of fans. We're just
Yeah.
going to cater to the millions of fans.
and they play to the extremes too. It's
Yeah.
like, I think all of us here are very moderate minded, right? You know, it's like I think we're where most people actually are. This is something Neil and I have talked about too, is that there's like a lot of people are in this place where they can deal with reality and understand that things are not black and white,
Hmm.
but everything plays to the extremes. It's like
Oh, yeah.
whatever the company
Sure.
is, it's playing to one extreme or another. Like look at what is it, Bud Light? They
yeah.
were doing that because they're nice people. They were playing to an extreme to make money, not because they give a shit. Well, maybe someone in there does give a shit, but it's
Yeah.
about money. That's what it is. It's marketing.
That's the bottom line. Yep.
And then that didn't go so well, and then they're like, "Oh, never mind,"
Yep.
because
We didn't
that-
really mean that. We're sorry.
Yes. So I'm not saying that companies should not, by any stretch of the imagination, should companies not promote positive social causes and the rights of people. That's not what I'm saying at all. It's just that sometimes in doing these kinds of things for the wrong reasons,
Yeah, and it's weird because there's actually a lot of positive messages in and there doesn't even need to be, I don't think either. You should be able to make whatever you want, and if you don't want to say anything, that's your own prerogative too. But
Oh, yeah.
there is a lot of social commentary in Troma. I think that's actually a really big
Oh,
part
yeah,
of
big
the Troma
time.
movies. The ones made by Lloyd Kaufman.
definitely. Yes.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but I mean, the Troma.
The ones made by Lloyd pretty much are. They're all very heavily social
Yeah.
commentary. But when you say Troma, it is a big umbrella of other things
Oh,
that
yeah.
really might not have anything to do with Lloyd Kaufman himself.
I don't know. I know I've gone like away from entertainment and more dark, but I just think about all of these.
Yeah,
Like,
well, I'm
cocaine,
still
yeah.
stunned by this whole thing. So I'm a little weirded out.
It's sucks.
Well, you did another topic that I think I would like to talk about is because I just kind of reminded me of something you said there, and that is the Oscars, and whatever people can say, who cares about the Oscars, but it still is people recognize if something won an Oscar that it's important in some way. So there, it used to be they had to have a theatrical release to be up for an Oscar, and then there was ideas like with the rise of streaming, is that even relevant? That's where I am. I don't think that's really relevant if it has a theatrical release, but they let it where I went to see The Irishman. It had a very limited theatrical release. I saw it at the Coolidge, and people think it was made for Netflix. It kind of really was, but it did have a theatrical release just so it could be up for an Oscar.
Oh, I see.
And I think personally they should just get rid of that, and if it's a great movie, it's a great movie. Who cares?
Best movie of the year is the best movie.
They went more the other way, where now it has to have a real theatrical release where it's got to play like so many weeks and at multiple theaters. So you can't just we're going to play it at 2 theaters over a weekend, so it could be eligible. And I've seen a lot of independent filmmakers think this is great.
How can you think it's great if you're an indie?
I have no idea, because I think this means you and anyone will never possibly be eligible for an Academy Award, and maybe a lot of stuff they make wouldn't be anyway. But I really don't understand. I think some of them think this will force the studios to release all these small movies for multiple weeks. But this one made me think, as you said,
believe that
when Annabelle said they didn't do this out of the kindness of the heart. You think the theaters is gonna, for one thing, these smaller theaters that are hanging on but barely after COVID, they can't afford to play these movies that no one's going to go see for weeks. I mean, you're sure maybe some of them would think that would be nice to do, but we just can't do it. Show this movie for weeks that no one's there, or maybe 3 people are there.
Yep.
They're not going to. That's not going to happen.
Big theaters, small theaters, anybody.
What's going to happen is the movies that are going to be up, you're going to see a lot more movies that are just like blockbustery movies that some of them maybe deserve it and some don't. But if they fill up so many best movie things, you're going to see maybe you won't see Transformers or something, but you're going to see big movies that just happen to play a lot of theaters.
Yeah.
You're not going to see more deserving movies.
No.
Oh no, that's wow,
and
that's depressing. That's terrible too.
Yeah, and I'm not saying just because you're a big movie, you're not good
you
either.
Might be the best
you can
movie.
be.
Yeah, yep.
It shouldn't matter.
Yep.
Yes.
But if you're an indie movie and back when Woody Allen was making his great movies and stuff, he'd be kind of screwed on something like that, Wow, that's just crazy to me. I just can't wrap my head around that either.
Yeah. And nowadays, like I said, Irishman is basically made for Netflix.
Yep.
And it's made by Martin Scorsese, and it's got Robert De Niro and Al Pacino, and it's got this giant cast. Now, years ago, that wouldn't have been that would have been a theatrical movie or whatever. But Martin Scorsese, I've seen interviews, he said he couldn't make it because he couldn't afford the budget to put it out theatrically. Netflix paid millions so he could make it. And that's just the future of movies. So, and what is it? Just you're like an elitist that it has to be at a theater? Why can't a great movie be made for Netflix or Hulu or whatever, or Shudder or something?
That seems like the money related as well, because smaller people can get audiences through streaming services. So is this Hollywood trying to squash out
that's just nuts.
Streaming stuff?
Yeah,
because
it's
that's never
an
going to
elitist
happen.
attitude, I think.
I think that's being really, having your blinders on too, but by both groups, by the Oscar people, where they're going to be oh, we're going to pretend this stuff doesn't exist. Well, it's around to stay. It's not like
Yeah.
a trend, you know.
Yeah, you can't go back from it. I mean, honestly, it's gonna get bigger. But
Mhm.
and
And
that's
if you're
at the end of the
making
day.
small movies, then you're really doing yourself a disservice if you think
Absolutely.
that's a good thing.
Yeah, at the end, how does that affect if someone's acting is better or worse? For one thing, I know
Yeah.
it's a weird thing to even compare, but why would it be like, oh well, that one premiered on Hulu, so it's not as good as this other one that premiered, at the theater? That should be no concern at all. For like an Oscar should be about the
Oh
actual
yeah.
performance
Yes.
and the filmmaking.
Yeah, that's insane to me. Because I mean, you can dump like as many millions on certain things as you want. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the Amazon Lord of the Rings series.
Yes.
It was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Like they shelled out like, more money than they knew what to do with. And why? Like, why didn't you get good writers and people that like understood what the fuck did you do? It just blew my mind.
Oh my goodness. That's so funny. My God.
And
I
so
actually never
excited,
saw
too.
it. Now I kind of don't want to ever see it. But
Yeah,
should watch
it's
it just
another
'cause
mixed reviews thing. I feel like
it's
there
silly.
are things that I do like, and there's a lot of things that I really had to like just live through, hoping
Yep.
that the things that I liked would persevere. Like the Gandalfy character person.
Oh yeah, the guy that
Ryan?
and then like they're pretending, oh, we don't know who this guy is. Well, I do. I just started watching this fucking thing. I know
Could
who
be
he
Sauron.
is.
We don't know, but I like that character. So
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
able
he
to
was
hang
good.
in there
And
for him.
and that group, actually, that was about the only group that I really cared about.
Yeah.
Him and like the
Galadriel?
haircut halflings there, like they were
Galadriel
pretty
makes
cool.
me so annoyed. I
Oh,
don't.
that was the worst. And then she just
Yeah.
jumps into the ocean because she's gonna swim back to Middle Earth. Like, well, that's a great idea. Okay,
Yeah, the elves in general, I was like, no, like
Yeah.
elves. Why does an elf have a regular short haircut? That's not.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't care
That's
what
so not
where
it.
they're from, what size they are, what color they are. No short haircuts on elves. I'm sorry.
Yep.
No.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
just
So,
wacky.
well, like you're saying, this. I mean, I don't know if like it's naivete to not just think like all of this is related to money, but it just seems like I don't know. There's got to be some.
Yeah, I think it's that, and I also think it's kind of a combination because also the idea, if you have these bigger movies up for Oscars, it's also going to be more ratings for the Oscars because people are more likely to watch it.
Oh yeah.
If like a big comic book movie's up, and I don't think that they should be. If there's a great comic book movie, I don't.
yeah.
That's totally fine. Heath Ledger should have been up for Best Actor, and Joker should have been up for Best Movie. All these things, that's totally fine. But I think you're just going to see a lot more of that, and ones that might not really deserve that.
Yeah.
I think you make a perfect point because the ratings for that has gone down so much, and they're probably trying to think about like how do we make this.
Yeah, you get the bigger quote unquote movie stars up, and then because it used to be back in the day, like the movie stars were in the big movies, but a lot of those big movies were still like when I say good, I mean like something that they could be both commercially good and critically good.
Mhm.
And I think over time that's really splintered. Now there's always exceptions, but
yes.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Oof.
Yeah, that's just crazy though. I
Yeah.
There's item number 2 that I can't quite wrap my head around tonight.
Blah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's leaving a bad taste in my mouth, both of these things.
Yeah, and I feel like, well, what's the option for like I know people try to come up with alternatives to Facebook because people hate it for a variety of reasons. And that's another thing. The extremes hate it because it doesn't cater to their extreme.
Right. Yeah. I always see people say, oh, they're communists. And then the other side's like, oh, they're Nazis. And so, yeah. And then there are people who think that those are the same thing, Nazis and communists. It's like they're not the same thing. But
socialists aren't the same as Nazis.
no.
Yeah, it's so messy. I just wish there was like a neutral place for people who aren't fucking extreme.
Yeah, because for example, people have told me, "Oh, well, if you have problems on YouTube, go to Rumble." But yeah, but Rumble, they say they're for freedom of speech, but if you go there, it's very, 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 very right wing, and so I don't really want to put without your head on that either.
Oh yeah, yep.
And if I tell us, "Oh, we're on Rumble," they're not going to think, "Oh, they're just doing that to vote." They're going to think, "Oh, this is the MAGA show, the horror MAGA show." Like,
that would be pretty disappointing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We probably get a different caliber of guests, but probably not people we necessarily want to.
And
well, I don't. Yeah,
right.
I think I'd probably look around and just sneak out the back and say, "Okay, this has been fun."
Yeah, and I'm sure there are people on there who are totally fine, but the gist of that's really what that.
Oh yeah.
We just need a neutral place to. Without your head is the neutral place to be.
Exactly. We don't judge here.
On a positive note, I want to mention that Devani Pins.
Yeah.
The Black Mass trailer. It came out finally, so you guys can check that out. I played here, but I don't want to get.
It's out.
Yeah, the trailer.
That's exciting. And for audience members that don't know, if you're actually still listening after our.
I'll pin it here. Devani posted it in Without Your Head, and I'll pin it up to.
Yeah, she was on the show. What, 3 months ago now? Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe
probably about that. 2 or 3 months.
And she's great, and I can't get into the details, but I don't even remember what she said, so I don't want to describe it because I'm concerned that I'm going to describe the part she doesn't want.
Right.
But it sounds amazing. It's horror. It's good. It sounds amazing.
Neil, I lack the ability or the knowledge to share a video. Would you look up that zombicide from Come On that I showed you and Brian over the weekend?
Yeah.
Zombicide, because I know it's something Annabelle will dig, and I think it's something that most of the fans will dig. And we need something
exactly what you mean.
That'll make you feel good.
Even though it's zombicide,
will make you feel
as far as I know, I don't think it's even though I know it's made by the company Zombicide, I don't think it really is zombie. But
no, I think maybe some of them are, but some of them aren't. Which
give me a second here.
Anyway, to see these as figures just made me so happy.
Yeah, don't say anything because I want Annabelle to be to. I think she'll be.
When I showed Neil and Leatherface, they both lit up, so it made me happy.
Your friend called.
So we're gonna share this. Brian Ray. The first time I saw him, he had a chainsaw cutting down a tree, and I'm like, "You remind me." And ask Neil. Brian's a sweet guy.
Yeah, it was funny. Well, the first time I met him, I was like, who am I meeting? Is going to be like some deformed dude or something?
He's wearing skin on his face, just a normal guy. Yeah. Brian's pretty quiet, though. I will say that.
Is he rock?
No.
A little bit, maybe.
No.
Okay, it's okay. It just makes him him. Not a bad thing.
Nope, not at all.
All right, I'm adding these. Just give me 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah.
This will be worth the wait because
so here is the game itself.
Okay. Oh, what?
Yes.
And then here's some of the figures.
So
look, it's even got the big foot.
Yeah, when you get the big foot on there, how can you go wrong?
That's awesome.
And they had the My Brain Hurts guys as their booster pack.
That's amazing. So
but you got Cleese doing the Ministry of Silly Walks. You've got the Lumberjacks in there. It's I have to get this now.
Oh my goodness. I love Flying Circus. I know that, I think most, at least my generation who is fans of Monty Python got in through Holy Grail.
Oh,
But
okay.
after Holy Grail, like Flying Circus is a whole other level of totally weird. Like,
I have to
what
say,
is
yeah, it's not that bad, honestly. You can pre-order right now for $49.95, which for anyone
That
who's
doesn't seem bad.
into board games, current board games, that's actually not a bad price.
No.
You get 21 miniatures, 6 survivors, 7 zombies. So I think that's the regular game itself. But yeah, Monty Python's Flying Circus
And the Come
Zombicide.
On, they make this new Marvel game that I love, and the
So I
figures are
think
so great.
I think you
Ooh.
might have to have the original game Zombicide, and then you buy this to play it.
Yeah, but I'll just collect the figures. Are you kidding me?
All right.
You
So
know,
this is something.
I like
just for a
this.
chance to paint up like a John Cleese
Oh, wait.
figure and stuff.
Oh
and
my
Oh,
God,
that's
look.
awesome.
Doctor
Oh
Strange.
my God. He's so cute.
Their figures are so great. And that's where I found this one, because like they make the Marvel United game, and so then they also make this Zombicide game, and it had a
cool.
Marvel takeoff too. So they had Galactus as a zombie. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta get this fucking thing. And then when I saw the Python, I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Troy, did you ever play Hero Clicks?
Love Hero Clicks.
Yes!
I got a million of them. I got bins and bins of Hero Clicks.
Awesome.
So I really like this Zombicide game, though. I think you buy the actual game, which is kind of expensive. I think it's like $90. But then you could buy all these
probably got a
different
million
expansions that you
figures.
could play. Once you have the core game, then you can play all this other stuff. So
Yes.
I assume you could have maybe you could have the Python guys fighting zombies. I don't know.
Oh, that would be perfect.
gonna
That would
look
be
into
so
this.
awesome.
So,
Colleen
Colleen's,
asked
yeah.
if any of us went to the farewell, Monty Python farewell. Yes, that aired around the world. Did we go to that?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think you
I'm
guys
like,
did. Yeah.
Remember, even though it was hot, I wore like a suit like they wore in the.
That's
So
awesome.
we did go to that. All right. I wasn't sure if I was implanting like my own memories, but
But
so
my
glad
weird little come on side story, I had never done a crowdfunding thing.
yeah.
And so I even asked Nasty Neil, how do I do this? Because I haven't a clue. Because their new one that's coming out for the Marvel United, they have a Fantastic Four set, and then the Heralds of Galactus. So it's a Silver Surfer, it's Galactus. I'm all geeked. I'm 8 years old again. And so as I kick my feet around and I say, I gotta get it, I gotta get it, I gotta get it. But how much do I have to donate? And he's like, it doesn't matter, because you'll get all these freebies. So if you do I found like $100 donation, and I did all the stuff that I wanted plus a million freebies. I'm like, awesome. So this was February, I think.
Yeah.
So as soon as I put yes, I will donate, then I'm waiting. All right, where are my figures? Maybe I should read this shit to see when this stuff comes out. So it says it's coming out in April. So I'm like, okay, that's not bad. That's a couple months. I can wait 2 months. So every day I would go to the site and I'd look and see, all right, we just started making the box art. We're doing this, we're doing that. And so then about a month ago, I'm like, okay, I should have had this shit by now. What's going on? So I look on the comments, and one guy said he mirrored me, and he was like, hey, where is my stuff? I've been waiting, And they came back and like, better check the year, champ. And I'm like, what does that mean? So then I go back and it's 2024.
Oh,
so I was jumping the gun a wee bit, So yeah.
Yes.
So I'll show you guys the Galactus next year. And,
all right. I look forward to it.
Yeah,
but now I'm going to have to get the Python, because that just is too awesome. Oh, too cool.
Where were we? Was that Victoria's?
No, I think this was it was like one of those chain places, because I think we were running out of options. But
where did we go to see that?
Oh, was it like a late night thing?
Was it Kenmore or
Kendall?
Oh,
Kendall,
all right.
Yeah. The little guy. Look at that.
You look very serious there.
Right?
It's a pretty rock. It's actually too big for me, but I
love
it.
that shirt.
It's cool.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's very nice.
Yeah.
That shirt's badass. I like it.
I bought some really bizarre jeans. I'm gonna take a picture of them tomorrow and post them on Facebook.
Bizarre.
I bought them
Bizarre
on one of these whacked. I get all these whacked out, which I noticed Annabelle posts too. I've been posting them for a while. These whacked out Facebook ads.
Oh yeah,
I bought a pair of
while
jeans
ago.
from this crazy Asian website
Yes.
for $2. And it's like, I don't know these, and I got them, and I think they're pretty sweet. I don't know.
Nice.
I'll post a picture of them tomorrow.
So they're assless chaps.
All right,
No.
awesome. Yep. There we go.
They'll be suitable to wear places. So I'll wear them sometime to dinner in the movie, even though you don't see
Will
my
I
pants.
be more impressed than Zubaz?
Probably.
Do they have like 400 pockets or anything?
No, that would be
Something
cool.
bizarro?
Cool.
No.
Like
one leg 14 feet
I even
long.
thought of I was going to do a podcast where I just drink my morning coffee and go over all my Facebook ads when I get up in the morning.
That's what. Yeah, I started doing that because they're so. I'm like, what is this?
Oh, there are some bizarro ones. It's
yeah,
true.
so now I enjoy Facebook ads because sometimes I
like
actually
it.
think stuff is cool, like genuinely
Yeah.
cool, and some of the stuff it's like,
Some of those little guys I showed you, I bought from those Facebook ads. I'm telling you, I actually have gotten some cool stuff. I'll be honest.
They're
There's a couple
tremendous.
things here I got from my Facebook ad.
really?
I got this on a Facebook ad, and it's really cool.
Oh,
geez.
oh, that's
That's
mad
cool.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me feel better about targeted marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
know,
I agree. I like it because like I'll get like ads for whacked out shirts, and I'm like, oh,
Oh, well, guys, I got to
Doing
split.
it, I guess
all right.
So I will see you crazy kids next week
that
with
would be great.
Lloyd and
Happy to see you.
Yeah, Lloyd and Troy, the cast and crew of Saint Drogo.
no.
Yes.
All right.
But
I love
Troy's Troy's almost in the movie thing. But Troy he loved these guys when we had him on for one of his favorite horror movies of the last few
Yep.
years.
I wouldn't do the full frontal though, so that
Yes,
was
yes.
that cut me out.
They're really good guys. I'm really looking forward to this.
Oh, yeah,
So that's
yeah,
it. I
that'll
even
be
asked
sweet.
beforehand because there a few times it's come up where I've had two guests and I won't name names, but they didn't like each other and I didn't know. And so it comes
Oh.
into it. So I asked and they're like, no, we love Lloyd. So it's like, all right.
I look
perfect.
forward to that if they came on like fuck that guy. I think that would be great.
Yeah. Well, they're big fans. So excellent.
Neil, will you share my picture before Troy goes? I just
Yeah, of
have
course.
to
Oh yeah.
ads.
This actually may be that's actually I'm not even joking. That's the site where I bought the jeans.
Timu's everywhere. Wait until you
Timu's-
see my targeted ad.
I buy Troy some little trinkets from Timu too. I like it.
Is that where the Lego, maybe not Lego figures come from?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
They're
Yeah.
awesome. They're
They're
amazing.
wild. I got him a Doc Ock guy from there. It's pretty
Cool.
rad.
Look at that.
Whoa.
What the fuck is
Oh,
that?
I need one. Like
Why do they hold it like
Frankenfrog.
Like, it's
I need
dead.
Frankenfrog with a broken neck. I need
It's like a
that.
kid like just choking it. Or...
That's like whole arm.
We need to get
Wow.
a sponsor from Timu.
Excellent quality. With
Oh,
this-
all right, there you go. That's all.
Okay.
All right, that made my night. All right, good night, everybody.
Good night.
Are you staying?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, because I've got a little time. What do we
All right.
got here? We've got like I'm learning the ropes of this place now. Now that we're let me see.
Oh, I put Boogie. That's all right. We'll leave Boogie Girl.
Oh, that's
Bad
what I
Girl
was
Boogie up
doing.
there.
I'm like learning the ropes of oh, what did I do? Do you see what I did? Oh, I gotta get out of this because I'm about to do something I don't want to. Okay, I'm done. I'm done.
Oh, what you're about to share screen or something?
I was going to like do away, not that Bad Girl Boogie needs to be done away with, but I was going to take it down. But we don't need to take it down. We can continue to promote Bad Girl Boogie.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry,
yeah, I think it's overlay 2, which is up above.
Oh.
There we go. I don't know what this does. What does this do? Oh no, that's whack.
Oh, yeah. Bring.
No,
No, you weren't into that.
no, scary.
Why?
I don't know. You want it? You like it? It's not bad, I guess. I don't know.
So I decided today.
Oh, look, you can see Toxie better.
Yes.
Then you can also see another T move fine.
I don't see. There's like an overlay of without your head. Oh. Cool.
These were they're supposedly lawn ornaments. And I was like, what the hell? What kind of whacked out person besides me would buy this for their lawn?
It's
like,
so funny you say that. I forgot to post it.
Garden gnomes. Sorry.
Yeah.
Garden
I went to Salem the other day and I was wandering around like the actual neighborhood, seeing if I could find a sign in the window that they have room for rent. That didn't happen. But I did see, like there's basement level apartments or a lot of sellers basements, whatever. They've got that like tiny little window. So that was clearly a basement apartment because on the brick ledge of that tiny window was a Freddy Krueger.
Oh, really?
And I was like, oh my God, whoever this is, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
It was really great.
See, we're going against the grain. Everybody's like, they don't like this targeted ads. I'm like, I'm all for it. I would rather get ads for something I might get.
Yes.
Some just total whacked out alien being being choked to death than I don't know.
Yeah, we can make me laugh. There's like a maybe this could be a new part of the show is our Facebook. I titled my album Just What I Always Wanted.
Oh, I see this one is peeing and what the hell?
And
this one I've never bought anything from that site. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I just know.
Have you shared this with the people?
I'm about to.
It's so funny. Oh, I wish it was bigger. So it's like a urinal frog with like a spinny.
So is it like a game? You try to hit it?
Yeah, and I think it spins. Like
it reminds me of like when you go to the fair and you have to shoot the squirt gun.
Yes,
and then but yeah, it needs to get a balloon on it, and you try to blow up the balloon if you hit the target.
But isn't that crazy? Fuck,
Colleen says, my friend got this for his son. Stop. It splashes the urine everywhere. I like to leave that up. And people be like, what are they talking about?
I also got an ad for a Macy's Disney Minnie Mouse personal device. It's a device.
I've seen a few sexual things. There was one recently. It was like it was a personal massager, and then like it has suction cups you could stick it to the wall. And
very creative.
Yeah.
Then it wasn't Minnie Mouse themed, was it?
No, it wasn't.
Because this is Minnie Mouse themed, and it's really disturbing. You'll like the bear. I don't know if you're continuing to look at my stupid ads or if you want to share any of them, but
well, here's this one. I like this. This is like a handful of babies.
Yeah. A handful of babies. You can get all your tiny little realistic babies. Mini lifelike baby newborn figure. They're really well made, but I don't think I need a finger-sized baby. Ew,
Colleen says there's Bluetooth controlled ones. I think she's talking about the Minnie Mouse earlier.
Interesting. Yeah, Minnie Mouse. I know, maybe it's like a nose hair trimmer. It's got a very weird shape to it. I don't know.
They're so Colleen here, as I'm sure she doesn't know.
Oh, and then there was do you know what the company Nordstrom is?
Yeah.
It's very fancy.
Mm-hmm.
It's very.
Yeah, there's an outlet in Boston I've been to.
Right, and it's pretty.
And even
fancy.
the outlets are pretty expensive.
Okay, yeah. let me share with you what Nordstrom decided to share with me, and I don't know why it's doing this because I'm not floating around looking at all kinds of weird ass sites. There's the Minnie Mouse.
From Macy's, yeah. It makes it even better that it's from Macy's.
Right, I know. It's like, what is this? The bear is cool. If you share the bear, I love the bear because I think that bear is probably a giant. I don't think that's a small bear. I think that's like a man-sized bear.
Cody, yeah, I'm getting to you.
but it's also kind of scary. Like it's got this like dissociated look on its face.
Yeah, he's just
What? Like I don't know.
Neiman Marcus.
And then the Nordstrom item.
Whoops.
There's just so much.
The Nordstrom butt plug.
Yes.
I even got one from Amazon the other day. I posted. Seth Heiss was replying to it.
Look at that. And I like the packaging though, because it's very like
I don't know what it would be.
Lines, but I'm like those.
Yeah, well, this one over here kind of looks like a butt.
They are. They're little butts. They're just different angled butts. And then there's
well, if I'm gonna buy a butt plug, I would only get it from Nordstrom.
That's only the best for Neil Jones. And then there's this, I don't know. Well, you can tell me that's enough, Annabelle. But there's this pill, Health Force Superfoods Scram. The name of it is Scram. And I don't know what it is. I don't know what it does. It says
if you or them, move them out.
Yes. Dietary supplement, herbal, something for health. What's inside of me that I need to have leave.
I don't know.
I'm not sure, but I'm concerned now.
Amber Gale says hello. You picked the odd time to join the show, but hello.
Welcome, Ambra. Welcome to our show. I feel a little bit like we're in the old podcast days of looking at stupid shit. I have dude bombs.
Dude bombs.
Dude bombs. Dude bombs.
Dude bombs. Stank eliminator. Let it rip.
Is that what it says?
Yeah. My buddy Bruce here. Bruce, I want to put one of them bears in the corner of my living room and just leave it there.
Yes.
Bruce
Did it
is
have
a good guy.
I think that was one of the. Was that Neiman Marcus bear?
Yeah.
It's a cute.
It had a metal bit in the center, and because of that, it shot straight in the middle of the person's chest immediately when the MRI came in.
What?
I don't know. I'm not sure what that was in reference. Oh, did you hear about the person who wore a silicone butt plug in an MRI? Damn.
Oh. What?
They sued the butt plug company because it was advertised as 100% silicone.
Why the fuck were they? Did they have it stuck and they were trying to figure out how to get it out? Like, is that one of those hospital nightmare scenarios that?
Yeah, maybe they just went like wearing it. Like, I guess it doesn't matter if I'm wearing this to my MRI.
I don't know. I do not know. All right.
Trying to find this thing I posted the other day that Seth replied to.
What the fuck, Colleen? Seriously? They just wore it in there? I don't know. If you're wearing a butt plug into your MRI, maybe don't. I know that like that wasn't their plan, but it's just like I don't know. Maybe no. You shouldn't have it go straight into your middle of the chest. I have to see this news story. I'm just like MRI butt plug. I'd like to think Google will figure that one out. FDA
so yeah, this was on Amazon, and it's edible poop.
What?
It's like a game for kids to
ew
promote STEM education in a fun way.
That's not. Yeah,
no, that's not something you want your little kid to learn. And
right.
I'm sorry, Ambra. She said, I thought there was talk about death metal. Yeah.
Oh,
the first hour and a half of the show was our death metal interview. But that was hours ago. Yeah, that was quite a ways ago. Yes. But yeah, we had a great interview with the guys from Death Metal.
Check it out if you want to see that. This is live recording. It will be up, and the guys are there for over an hour. That was a great interview. Now we're just being fools, but the interview itself is legit. and good, and their movie was amazing. So please forgive us for being weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, you lucked out. You made it now. So yeah. What were we talking about? Butt plug straight to the heart.
Yeah, and here, what is now? Is that life size? They're actually that big?
Apparently, it is.
Damn. You'd
Yeah.
think that would cost like $1,000 or something. Either that, or they've got a very small model.
She's very far away. It's all trickery. Now I've got this. Oh my goodness, what just happened here? What did I do? I don't even know.
You're looking up MRI butt plugs.
I was, but I've got so many tabs open. I have like, you know how there's windows? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 windows open. And each one of them, of course, at least has one tab. And many of them have many more.
Our pal Strange Nocturnal, actually, he's he wants to do a for Halloween.
Yes.
He wants to do a an unplugged version of his Without Your Head theme.
Yeah, does he like me anymore? I'm putting him on the spot.
Oh, I assume so. He said he was gonna ask.
Absolutely not.
Oh, he said he was gonna ask you about
cool.
what instruments and stuff. So
that's awesome, and I appreciate that. That's cool. I'm happy for that because Strange, you're strange.
He was in here earlier too, I think. Yeah.
Super talented. Like I've always loved listening to your stuff. Always. The intro
he's watching right now too.
With us is really phenomenal. So that's cool. I look forward to that. Mini poo powder. I don't know what that does either, but it's mini poo powder. I wonder if the what Amber Gale's target ads are like.
Now they might be worse after this show.
Oh, that would be sad. You're gonna discourage people from watching.
Or better. I mean, better.
It'd be better. Entertaining.
Yeah, right.
Consider this entertaining.
Less boring.
Yeah.
Trying to find. I had this weird ad yesterday. It was for this thing that said it makes you more beautiful, and it was just this weird thing that you suck on.
Oh, I remember seeing stuff like that in Japan. They were like things that would
well, it's an Asian woman doing it, yeah.
Yeah, they were crazy. It's like, this is I don't know. What else?
No, I like these. These are cute, these little French fries.
Aren't they super cute?
Yeah. I would buy that.
Yeah. Aww. I like them very much. They're quite adorable.
So yeah, this Sunday, by the way, we're going to be doing the live. I do want to remind people of live dinner and a movie. And so I don't know if we're probably do both reviews at the end. I don't know. But either way, stay tuned. We don't have the exact time, but stay tuned on it. We'll be on the lookout for YouTube and on the Facebook group. Because maybe we'll even do a couple live updates while we're out. And then at some point, though, either we'll do a review of the one and then the review of the other after, or we'll do one show where we review both movies at the end.
Who the hell knows what's going to happen? Pay attention and
we don't know either.
It will be recorded and in existence.
Exactly. But if it's live, you can join in and talk with us. That'd be fun.
Yeah, like if you're live now, it's
right.
the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a lot. This has been quite a show so far. What time is it? It's not terrible.
It's getting probably close to
Did you see The Block?
No.
That one is a good one. The Block.
What the hell is this?
That I'll stop pressuring you about my ads.
It's just the what is it? It's just like a block of like substance.
It didn't tell me.
It's like kryptonite or something.
Look at the price tag.
63. Damn, 5 pounds of this stuff for only $63.54.
I don't know what it is. And it could be a candle, but there's no wick. I don't know.
That's a lot of.
It's literally nothing.
It
Like,
seems
I don't
expensive
understand.
for wax.
I guess not literally nothing, but it's accomplished. See, it appears to accomplish nothing. I don't know if you throw it at people.
Is it radioactive?
I don't know. Oh, maybe it's a weapon that like melts away after you use it. So
I know that's like, what the people have brought up before about like using an ice dagger. Like you get like an ice and then you kill them and then it melts away, and so there's no weapon.
That would not be easy to pull off in this weather currently.
That's true. That's true.
Paperweight. That's a mighty paperweight. It'll do
maybe a 5 pound paperweight.
63 and 8 cents or whatever it is worth of paper weighing down work.
Colleen says anything is a weapon if you're brave enough. You could also say the same thing about the butt plug earlier.
Anything is a butt plug
if you're brave enough. That's a great T-shirt.
A new without your head slogan.
Exactly.
And
then someone's like, I thought you were talking about horror movies.
I have to be, man, I wish I didn't have to work early in the morning because I'd be up all crazy butt things.
Oh, by the way, Colleen, because she very nice of her, donated to the website, and so I sent her a package of goodies. And one of them, she was very happy because she had not ever seen it before, since she's relatively new to the show. And she got herself a Happy the Ghost magnet. I was
wondering if that's where this was going.
Yeah.
I have two. Now they're living next to each other and
nice.
They're having a very blissful time together.
Yeah, so she has one because I just found some recently that I still had. Nice. So maybe we'll put it up for people who'd like to get one. It'll be fun for like donations to the site. You get one. And so she got one, and a filmmaker friend of mine asked for one, and so I sent him one.
That's awesome. Yeah, I do miss drawing the drawings. It's a whole new world, but I'm here. I'm making the podcasts work.
Yeah,
I'm very tired, and starving. But
I am too. I actually haven't had dinner tonight, so I was gonna go get late dinner tonight. I had a smoothie for lunch, and then I had a cup of chicken soup.
Yeah, at like 7:30, I had my normal yogurt, fruit, rice, cereal.
Yeah, I'm planning on having the remainders of my scallops for dinner.
Colleen, yes, I have a friend an adult friend who originally thought it was just waving. It's just waving. It's just a happy wave.
Someone in the same way, they thought it was, they were actually putting out their hand to shake it, they thought.
Exactly. It's art. You can think whatever you want.
Exactly. Yeah, as she said, art is subjective, right?
Exactly. So earlier today, when I decided I needed to get a coffee, I was looking at I've decided that this is not. Last time Bill was like, "What's up with your hair?" He said it much nicer than that. But what's up with your hair? Like, oh, it's this fashionable shullet thingy. And then I went out and I had my like Boston Underground Film Festival thing. I had my like purplish sunglasses on. My hair must have been like this or something.
That was pretty cool, actually.
Crazy person hair now. Like it's just like it's just madness. I'm like, this is good. I'm gonna grow into this. Thank you very much. I do it myself, which I don't know if I should brag about right now, but yes. So I'm just gonna go out in public and embrace I don't know how it's working for me right now, but let's see. No. Go back.
I thought it looked cool.
Yeah. You should do it.
I have some stuff here to do this.
Your facial hair. Dude, if I can do all the shit I have to do. Yes! Did you just have that close at hand? Look at that! It's too much work. Shut up. Too much
Someone
work.
actually suggested to use instead of actually something for beards and mustache, something for your hair, and it does work a lot better.
What is it?
This is fiber wax.
What's the brand?
Old Spice.
It must smell. Is it very Old Spicy? Look at
No,
that.
it
That's
actually has no odor. Though.
In my opinion, it's like almost like the Salvador Dali mustache.
Yeah, that's why I actually shave on the sides here just so this can stick out a little better.
Yeah, Colleen, what do you think? There's 2 people watching right now. Colleen and whoever else is here.
Yeah, that's not completely accurate, but yeah.
Well, oh, it's not? Oh, good. Oh, because that's only through like
one thing. Yeah, I'm not really even sure how that worked because it's never accurate at all.
Colleen, you could also say it's stupid. Neil can take it. Oh, let your hair go natural. If I hopefully will get silver hair, because I would stop doing a lot of my maintenance here. I would just have color. But yeah, I'm working on a butt cartoon, just so you know. So what should the object be? What do you think?
For what?
The object. Name an object. Neil Jones, a large object.
A tree.
Could be a tree.
A pyramid.
I'm already on the way.
I'm
already working it out. Do you remember the dog one I did?
The dog one?
The dead dog.
The what?
The guy in the dead dog cartoon?
No. I'd probably, if as soon as I see it, I'd probably, oh yeah, I remember that, but I don't remember that.
You just wait, folks. This is gonna be
a totem pole. That's a good one too, Colleen.
I don't know why this person looks like a baby, so I'm gonna put this is not a baby. I'll give it some hair. All right. Okay. So what was the phrase?
Anything can be a butt plug if you're brave enough. It's like, that's very festive. It's like a Christmas tree.
Yeah, you said a tree, and I'm like, a tree it is.
Yeah, that's gonna be the official Christmas shirt for Without Your Head this year.
Nice. What do you think?
That's some ornament.
Is this gonna be? Will we get banned? Thank you.
Yeah, Colleen loves it.
I'm happy.
Look at this. Colleen says he looks like a pirate, and then she adds, pirates are hot.
Yep. Pirate Jones. How do they come up with pirate names, by the way? Isn't there some, you know what? Someone, who was it? I think it's a mutual friend posted about how people will have these like, what, your first name and your last initial and the color of whatever. And it's like, those are all things that they need to break in, like, for passwords. What's the street?
Well, it's true, but at the same time, like, are they going to get, what, 50,000 people's passwords? I don't know.
But I'm just saying. So the point being, I wonder what Neil Jones' pirate name would be.
If you, some of that stuff, like, they could get most of this stuff just looking at your Facebook anyway. So, I went to the Imagine Forest, and they have a pirate name generator. And mine is Evie Sharkbait.
Where did you?
I just wrote in a pirate name, and then so this website called imagineforest.com.
Just pirate name?
Here's one. I
see it.
Yeah. I want me to do it. I hit random. Another one came up.
Okay.
Captain Sylvester Shadows.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
That doesn't really.
But is that for you or for me? I don't.
Admiral Henry Hart. You don't even put a name or anything. You want me to just say the next one I get? What you get?
I've got Silvera Snake Eyes.
Oh, that is a cool one. I like that.
Right? That's cool. I will stick with Silvera Snake Eyes.
This one's pretty cool.
Mustachio the Third. Oh my Lord, Colleen.
Man,
that's awesome. It's very classy.
I'm a classy man. Silver Tooth Samuel. That's pretty good. But yeah, I like this one better. Sir Mustachio the Third. Yeah.
Or pirate face.
Pirate McPirate face. Hey, that one's not bad either. Bruce says you'll get a Temu ad for the Christmas ornament tomorrow.
Yes, I will buy it tomorrow.
Yeah. Bruce is also an artist, so Bruce, if you ever want to send in any pictures you draw, let me know. We'll share it on the show. Yeah, probably not tonight because we'll probably be going soon, but soon we're gonna open up the where people can video in. So if Bruce or Colleen or whoever would like to
brave of you.
Hmm?
Do you have to accept people or do they just pop up?
I'll have to add them in.
Okay.
They'd be across the bottom. I know Bruce. I know Bruce. Bruce is fine. He's not.
Not Bruce specifically, but just like.
Oh, I understand.
I'm thinking of earlier in the night when I had to do.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah, because some people are just dicks and just try to make trouble.
Yeah, on Zoom, you know, I had to edit out of the show because someone, when we were using Zoom, called into Without Your Head, and they were like, they just started showing porn videos. So I
what?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. People are stupid.
Whoop whoop. Whoop whoop. Someday I'll have a laptop to video it on. There you go. Yeah, you can also use phone, but yeah, laptop's probably best. All right. Well, I had a wonderful time tonight.
I have as well. We've been all over the map and back again.
I'm in favor of that. I like that.
Yes. So we're ending on a high note.
Mm-hmm.
Up high note. Oh, you can see the little butt dude, right? Do I?
Yeah, sweet. I love it.
For you?
I love it.
Closer. Closer. I'm so tired.
Well, along those lines, what do you think of this? So this is a wrestling figure I have, and I think the picture they use on the back is of Cody Rhodes.
Like,
I don't know.
Neil's grabbing something off the shelf of toys.
Look at him. That's not the greatest photo. Or maybe it is the greatest photo. I don't know. I'm like Carrot Top. I have all the stuff I can pull out. This is my wrestling buddy of Sting.
Dang.
Bring it on. I bet ain't happening. Try harder. Is that all you got?
I like that. That one. That's the one.
Oh, then when I put him back over here, it did 1, 2, 3 because he's laying on his back. He got pinned.
That's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah.
Does it do that for all of them? I would assume.
I don't know. It's the only one I have.
Why Sting of all of the ones you could get?
Well, because these are new AEW ones, and it was cool that they made Sting, he's 63, and he came back. They came to AEW, and he's wrestling. And I was like, I think that's pretty awesome. Definitely gonna be his last run. A 63-year-old guy still in the ring wrestling, Sting. So it's cool.
So Colleen, let us know. Going to AEW.
Oh, I am too. I got tickets for Troy and I.
All right. Did I just get super bright?
Yeah. I don't know what happened. Oh, at first we said that. I thought, ooh. Yeah, I'm going. It's at the TDK Garden, the former Boston Garden, whatever it's called now.
TD Bank Garden.
Yeah. I hate that all these places they're named just after stupid shit now. Yeah. It's like the Dunkin' Donuts Arena.
Yeah.
In a way, like that. So it's good for AEW. They're going to the big stadium, but I did like it when they were going to the smaller one because I do think it's there's not a bad seat in the place, and it's kind of cool.
Like small theaters.
Yeah. So, but good for them. But they just announced. I don't know if you saw this, Colleen. On that show, the main event's going to be Blood and Guts, which is like a 5-on-5 cage match with blood and guts. So it's going to be very exciting.
Are you going with Troy Boy?
Yes.
Mama Bear going? No.
Troy might even go to the casino with me after because he watches as much AEW TV as me, but he also watches their video show, Being the Elite. And apparently they go to casinos. Maybe we shouldn't say this. Yeah, but they go to casinos a lot after the show just to have fun. So he thought maybe if we went, we would run into some of the
Yeah, it's public information. You can share it.
Yeah.
He didn't learn it from like they whispered it to him.
Right.
Yeah.
So that would be fun.
Or maybe you don't want to have competition.
Yeah, if it's open, because actually I saw, not that anyone's going to care watching this, but Encore Casino, the employees were going to go on strike if they weren't paid better, and I think it's by this weekend if they don't.
Wow.
I mean, they make a fortune. They should treat their employees.
Yeah, good for them. Absolutely. That's not easy work.
Mm-mm. And I'm, even everyone there, they're on their feet almost all the time, and
I'm sure there's a lot of people who treat them just like servants.
Mm-hmm.
So, but regardless, it is that kind of work is hard. So yeah, they should get paid well.
I'll let you know about where we're sitting, Colleen. I don't know. I'll have to look on. I don't know offhand, but maybe we'll in the same area. I don't know. It'll be fun.
Yeah, very, very cool. So, but is it changing color?
I don't know, but you did get like I don't know what happened, but very.
Yeah.
I bet it was when you put the picture into the camera. But I wouldn't worry about it till next time. I bet it'll probably when you
kind of.
Yeah.
I had great skin when that was happening. But all right, so here we are. It's been a nice long evening of chat of all kinds.
And, lots of cool guests coming up in July. We'd mentioned next week is the casting crew of St. Drogo and Lloyd Kaufman. Got some really cool guests coming on from like classic 50s sci-fi horror movies I'm very excited about. The last living cast member of Robot Monster, Greg Moffat. That just came about today, so that's going to be happening.
How did that happen?
They're putting out the remastered Blu-ray of Robot Monster and offered an interview. And I was like, whoa, yes, of course. That'd be amazing. Yeah.
What about Invaders from Mars? Because
we got to.
Because I brought that up. Like, that's the whole reason I came on that night, is because you guys were talking about all these movies.
Right.
And I'm like, Invaders from Mars.
Same way, the special edition, I think from the same people, they're putting out the special edition Blu-ray.
So cool.
And so he may actually be on live. I'm actually
nice.
Currently trying to set that up. He's going to be on, but he'll either be live or have to record it, obviously. But we have 2 weeks right now that are completely free. So I'm going to see if either of those work for him. And if not, then we'll probably record it.
Sounds good.
Earlier, it was last year. What was the movie? I had from the same people. It was one of the only cast members still around from. It was another 50s sci-fi horror movie. It's like something about the brain. The brain from
the brain that wouldn't die.
No, it's the brain from something. Let me find this.
Another brain that wouldn't die. The brain that.
Like the brain from Euros or something.
Oh.
Let me see here.
The Brain Eaters, The Brain That Wouldn't Die, the horror movies with brains.
Or is it the brain from Planet Eros?
Oh, that's interesting. From Planet Eros, eh?
Mm-hmm.
I know which god that is, or which cherub or whatever you want. What is that? Oh, Arouse. I thought you meant Eros, E-R-O-S.
Oh.
But A-R-O-U-S is part of, so there's an awesome picture here.
It must have been a year ago this month, because that's when I'm wearing my Pride.
Oh, nice. I'm going to, I think this
was
is
Joyce Meadows. Very cool. It was very cool to have her on. So the same folks are putting out Robot Monster. And that was a picture Troy drew of the brain. I put it on the screen.
Oh, cool. Check out the brain picture I just sent along. From that movie.
Yeah. The movie's wild. I think I have the Blu-ray around here somewhere because I had it up on the screen. What's out? Is that from the same movie?
Yeah, it's from the movie. It looks awesome. I think it's super cool. And I think most brains fly solo, but not here. Are they trying to like mate with him? I'm not sure.
Kind of looks like that. It looks like a there'll be a. Isn't there a D&D monster looks like that?
Oh, I don't know. With the stalks?
With the brain, they're like the ego eaters or something.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know why I can't think of that. Are you talking about the brain that's got the beak? It's got legs.
Maybe. I can't remember.
I think. Brain, legs, beak.
Dungeons and Dragons brain monster.
Oh, you poor people. A grell?
Intellect Devourer.
Oh.
Ego Eater, Intellect Devourer. I was close.
All right, because I've got one that's called the Grell, and it's another brain monster, but it's got a beak, and instead of legs, it's got tentacles.
I see.
Yes.
I'm trying to find an old, I'm pretty sure it was in one of the original monster manuals. But...
I think you are correct. Let's see, Grell.
Yeah, it's like basic just a monster. It's like a brain with legs, the Intellect Devourer. Pretty cool.
Yes.
All right.
Oh my goodness. I am so fucking fine here.
All right. Well, we're going to take off. I had a great time.
I had a great time as well. Gonna go take a nap, prepare for my work day tomorrow, and then the weekend comes and I go to an amazing concert for Sparks. Yes! And then I go out to these two cool movies, hopefully cool movie. Well, one of them is cool, and hopefully the Indiana Jones one will be entertaining if nothing else.
Yeah.
And and we'll see all you fine people, hopefully, if you're watching it live. And if you're not watching it live, you can maybe watch it live, or you can watch neither live.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we prefer, then you could come on and say hello and stuff. By the way, Mike, the earlier guest, says that Kyle just texted him to say he had a lot of fun hanging out with.
Awesome. Very cool. I want to check out his band. I recognize the name. There's names that I recognize, but I don't, I know Cannibal Corpse. I was going to mention them because their covers of their albums are really crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to investigate more. From Fleabag. What's Fleabag? Fleabag sounds familiar. Fleabag. I don't know. Colleen, help me. I don't know what you're talking about, but now I feel like I'm supposed to. I'm under pressure.
Fleabag. I thought she was just insulting me or something. Fleabag.
Mama, Phoebe.
I don't think I've ever seen this. It's a TV show.
A dry-witted woman known only as Fleabag has no filter as she navigates life and love in London while trying to cope with tragedy. The angry, grief-riddled woman tries to heal while rejecting anyone who tries to help her, but Fleabag continues to keep up her bravado through it all. Comic actress Phoebe Waller-Bridge stars as the titular character on the series, which is based on Waller-Bridge's 2013 one-woman show of the same name.
Interesting.
And there we go.
Yeah. Yeah, Colleen says, won an Emmy, and she's in the new Indiana Jones movie. So that's very cool.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for filling in those blanks.
Yeah. And a big thanks to Timothy Fife for Music of the Month this month. I know the Fabio Frizzi interview didn't happen because he's busy, but it will happen in the near future. And when it does, we're going to include Timothy's music.
Our man, the family man, good Timothy Fife.
So start next month will be the Antibodies, who oddly enough did the theme song for the new James Balsamo movie. So that's very cool.
And that was just total coincidence?
Yeah, total coincidence. Very
weird. I was also wondering, maybe, I didn't want to ask him, put him on the spot, but I'm wondering if he will let Incantation.
I was wondering the same. Yeah.
I didn't want to put him on the spot, be like, be our music of the month, and him be like, ah.
Yeah, because I don't know, with copyright and everything and stuff. Yeah.
When he's not here. But he said he has other musical projects too.
Oh, that's very true too. That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be one of his other bands. Yeah.
We shall see.
Yeah, we'll look into that.
That would be super cool.
But check out Death Metal. I really liked it.
It was very fun. Yes. And
Well
that
made,
one guy
cool gore.
was a great villain. He actually, I didn't want to say it. I assumed that they probably wouldn't mind a super over the top divisive movie, but the vibe I got from that character, the producer dude, was the producer in the Serbian film.
Oh, interesting.
He's like, ah, and very like disconnected from reality and human needs.
I recently tried again to get him on the show, but I don't even know if he speaks English or anything. But I've never had any luck. But
who, the director?
No, not some of the cast. Some of the cast.
Director in the cast.
Yeah, the guy who plays the producer in.
Producer, yes, that guy.
Yeah, I tried to get some cast members on when New Village Video was has the uncut version of the movie, but no luck. Again, I don't know if any of the cast even speaks English, or maybe they don't even want to be associated with the movie anymore. I don't know, but
it's possible. Maybe they don't want to be associated with you.
Yeah, because if you look at a lot of them, have done like some more a lot of mainstream stuff too.
Oh, I saw you posted that up, and I saw it real fast, and I just saw the word plug.
I agree. I was thinking that.
What?
Yeah.
Plug, and now I see it. Shameless plug for Friends metal band. Lucis?
Yeah, Lucis. Interesting. We'll have to look into this. If they're horror-esque, maybe, we'll see. Look into them.
Well, bass player is cinematographer for local independent.
Oh, wow. That's a good fit then. Yeah, we will look into them, Colleen. Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah, anyone out there, if you have cool horror-esque music bands that you think would fit, at least suggest. Yeah.
Not a guarantee.
Right, and there will be that. Well, the music of the month is obviously can only be 12 a year, but I'm also going to be starting doing a podcast every month where it's going to be a bunch of tracks for the mixtape. So, there's more spots on that.
That's great. Okay, so we've been trying to say our goodbyes for a half an hour.
Right.
So, goodbye. It's been a pleasure to be here.
And farewell.
Yes.
We will be back next week for a whole new month here on Without Your Head. Please subscribe. Hit that. So even if you're watching, wherever you're watching, also please subscribe on YouTube. Hit the like button. Supposedly this helps algorithms. I have no idea. Hit the little bell icon. You'll supposedly get notifications when we go live. And follow us everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, all these things. And subscribe on Spotify, wherever it is. And a big help is to help share it. So you like the show, share it out so your buddies can check it out. It's a good time. I believe that's how Colleen, she found us through James Lamont. So
really?
Yeah.
Cool. Very nice.
All right. So here we go. Here's
all right.